lanes, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
Woo! Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, this episode, Crash and Burn, Match Me Abroad season 2. I said season 1, but it's season 2, guys. Don't pay me any attention. It's season 2, and this is episode 13, Crash and Burn. How are you doing today, El Cid?
I'm doing well. You know, it is a full crash and burn, a total crash and burn, and I'm loving it. I got some heat for some unexpected people.
Yeah. We were talking on the way coming in. I'm like, woo, girl, we disagree, but that's good. It makes for great discussion. So, hey, I'm not mad. I am not angry about that. But that, yeah, there's some heat. Crash and burn. So, who do you think they're talking about with this title of tonight's episode, Crash and Burn?
Amber, Monica. Oh, I got a huge burn for Monica. Mm-hmm. And if her matchmaker don't burn her next week, I don't know what's going on with Brazil. Both daters need to be fired. Okay.
Both daters. Well, yeah, for sure, Tony. We know.
For sure, Tony. Monica needs to be fired too.
Monica is. I told you early on, and I don't think anybody believed me at first. I told you Monica is the spokesperson for Arrested Development.
Yeah, that's what we talked about. And we saw it plain as day on our television screen.
Absolutely. Well, first things first, we got to get to it's 83 balmy, warm, beautiful, sunny degrees here in Michigan. What's it like where you are? Drop down in the chat if you're part of the replay crew. Just say hello, send me a purple heart, or let me know where you're from and what the weather is like at the time when the time is timing. What's the weather like where you're at? I'll see it.
It is exactly the same. It is 83 degrees. It is hot. Get
out of here.
It is hot as Hades because there is no rain, has been no rain, and will be no rain for the next few days.
That's what they're saying here. I think we're going into 2 weeks, I believe. Going into 2 weeks. It's been very dry. The grass is getting brown, which I do not like. Hey, shApp. Welcome in. Good to see you. To go to Africa, always a pleasure. Good to see you as well.
I like when the grass turns brown.
You do? Why? You don't cut
it. You ain't got to cut it. It means fall is coming in, which means, all the people that have been showing skin over the summer, too much skin will have to be covered up soon.
You mean all those bootylicious shorts?
I just said those who showing skins because it ain't just the girls with the bootyliciousness, okay?
Oh, okay. You are in Atlanta area, so okay. We don't see that quite as much here in the Detroit region, but every now and then I'll see a guy.
I am not ready for all day jelly, okay?
How do you know it's jelly? Because jam don't shake like that.
Jam definitely don't shake like that.
You got good lord. I tell you. Okay, wait a minute. To go to Africa says what? She says, oh, you're in the DMV where my daughter is. 63 degrees and raining. That's interesting because usually it's warmer there anytime, the same time of the day or same time of the year here. It's usually warmer there, but 63 and raining. Okay, so you got our rain that we need to get our grass greener here. Okay.
Right. They got in DC.
Oh, and shApp, we never see rain here. It's a good and bad. Where is she at? In Arizona? Las Vegas? I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure. But okay, we never see rain here. I'm thinking Arizona. I'm thinking someplace very arid like Arizona. I'm thinking like maybe Las Vegas.
Some desert sand place.
Yes, absolutely. Some desert sand place, yes.
San Antonio.
That's not the desert. Okay. I've been there. I've been there. My son lived there for a couple of years, and I got to see the Alamo. It's a wonderful place. And then what's that canal? What's that canal thing downtown? What's
Yeah, the canal area. Don't ever go in January. Don't ever visit
why?
when they're cleaning it.
Why? What happens?
Because everything's kind of shut down when they're cleaning that canal. I learned the hard way.
Oh, really? I didn't know. Well, who knew? I guess what are they like getting all the stuff out the bottom
Yeah.
of it and all
Hmm.
that kind of stuff?
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
Or at
okay.
least I know the River Walk. They
The
used to do a.
river walk. Thank you. And I should know that because we have a river walk here in Detroit, but it's nothing like it's beautiful. I think it's been voted the nation's #1 river walk. But that river walk there, I had a ball. The
Yes. Yes.
nightclubs, the comedy clubs, that one place where you throw the your peanut shells on the floor. I had a ball. I loved it.
Can't stand that place. Logan's.
Yeah, no, it's a Logan's. Okay, I don't know. I can't remember that. I'm horrible with names, but all I know is it was so cool because where my son was staying at the time in this loft, it was close enough to walk
Oh,
downtown.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
would be there every day if that
I
was the case.
was. I was there every day. It was
No,
so cool.
my son loved it when he was a toddler and when he could talk and say the name Logan's, he would call the place Peanuts on the Floor. I
Yes,
just
imagine
did
that
not.
is it. Because the peanuts on the floor, right?
Right. I just, how can I eat someplace where the food is being thrown on the floor? It just irked
It's
my nerves.
so cool. It's so cool. I loved it. I loved it. So, anyways, we'll get started here, guys. And happy Tuesday, by the way. Hope you guys had a great day today and are continuing to have a wonderful day. Let's see here. My media thing is a little thrown off here. Ah, Victoria and Victoria.
Yep. So we're starting with Vicky Toria.
Victoria, yes, we are. And it's interesting because, let me take this comment off for a second here. It's interesting because it's actually Amber and Victoria that we're going to have in this scene, but because of the way I break it up to least to most, sometimes complex, sometimes in this particular day, I will say my thought process was least to most interesting this particular episode. So we're gonna start with Victoria because Victoria, she's dating Darren, the much younger man who's also a comedian, and they decided to do a double date this time though. So it's Amber and Glenn and Victoria and Darren, right? And they meet up. They meet up at this place where they're going to do this cooking. And what was it they were cooking? It was some old Irish dishes, a couple of Irish dishes that didn't really look particularly appetizing to me. What did you think?
It was like a soda bread, kind of like, an Irish staple. I've made that before. It's basically a bread with only like 3 to 5 ingredients.
Is it any
Um,
good? Is it any good?
it can be like, I like, when I did it, it was white bread is bland on its own. So we put butter, we put peanut butter, we put whatever on it, and
Right.
it looked like we also did like it's not a shepherd's pie, but it's kind of like layered potato kind of casserole kind of dish.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
that with the carrots and whatnot. Yeah.
exactly. So the bread for me was fine, but for me, I put in a little garlic and herb, or if you
So
want.
it's no longer Irish. Well, go ahead.
Right, but I need my bread to have some kind of flavoring. Like,
Flavor. Yeah.
if you get like dried chamomile and you put like
Mm,
chamomile flakes in your bread dough, that
mm.
also relaxes your stomach and all kinds of stuff. But it would be like just regular plain bread and stew.
Oh,
But I
okay.
liked it. I liked it. It was something Irish. If y'all are dating Irish men, you got to
Mhm.
know how to cook some of the Irish dishes.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, like you said, I like the part where you added the chamomile. So you can put some chamomile in the bread and it will kind of help with your relaxing
Digestion, to
your
relax.
digestion.
Yeah,
Okay.
put you
Oh,
to sleep later. I mean, whatever.
okay. Whatever. Okay, yeah. So the two of them, they seem to be working very well. Would you say Darren and Victoria worked really well with these tasks that they were given around the kitchen?
Hmm.
Did we see any chemistry?
Not a daggone bit of chemistry except what's boiling in the pot.
It was boiling in the pot. And here's how, and I took this picture because to me, this was very indicative of no chemistry. So the four of them are seated around the table, but three of them are sitting side by side. And that's Victoria sitting next to obviously Amber. And then on the other side, you can't see it for this purpose, but she's sitting next to Glenn. But now here's Darren sitting on the end of his table by himself. Now, I can see like if there were obviously wasn't enough room for the four of them to sit there, but I would have thought that if Darren was really into her, he could have said, "Hey, babe, could you slide a little closer?" And close the gap, grabbed her hands, hold her hand. What do you think? Is it just me looking at this body language and maybe I'm wrong?
You seeing it right, but remember, she told Katarina she ain't into all that touchy feely stuff. So he could be looking at her like she's creating distance. Does she really like me?
Oh,
Because she said she ain't into all that touchy feely holding hands kind of thing. But at
oh,
least you could sit, closer to the man. I wonder if their knees are touching. I mean, could our knees touch? Here's my thing. They still have not kissed, and I've got you tattooed on my leg. I'm sorry. Where they do that at?
wait a minute, say that again.
She has a matching tattoo with him, and they have never even kissed. Where
Right.
do
Oh
they do
yeah.
that?
That's what I said all along. Like they never kissed and they have matching tattoos. I mean, she never even tried to kiss him. Like, uh, so she's saying, so get to that. So she's saying during this date, she's saying, we have a good time together. I do like him, um, but I'm beginning to wonder now. I'm beginning to be concerned that he hasn't tried to kiss me. So I'm thinking to myself, like, what is stopping either of them? I really don't understand these two. Like, if she just went, did she just go to Ireland just to meet another friend? I'm not understanding.
She wants a relationship. She wants the chemistry, but you don't want him to touch you. That is would be confusing to me. If I was in Darren's shoe, it's like, well, how do I show you affection? How do I show that I'm interested in you?
Right, right. And Kay Sharp also hit it on the nail on the head too. She says Victoria may not be a person to show PDA, but they don't even show any affection. Poor thing, wasted her time on one man. Exactly. Exactly. Like yeah, I don't understand it. Like, why would you come all the way halfway across the world to date one guy? Now, I get that she likes him. He's easygoing. And I think what she really liked about him was that he was able to accept all of the losses that she's had in her lifetime that have really affected her, like her dad, her grandmother who raised her. All of these things, she kind of put that on him and saw that he was able to accept it and he wasn't judgmental, so that felt good to her. But I think her standards and her ideal of dating and romance are a little bit off. They're a little askew. Does that make any sense?
It's very skewed because she said she's given him an out. He also is like, oh, we're not putting any labels on anything. And how could I label you my boyfriend if you haven't met my dog? I'm like, girl, can your lips meet each other first?
Right, right, right. And my thing was when she said the dog part, I was like, girl, if your dog was that important, you should have put him in a little bag and brought him on the plane with you, and they should have met the day that you before you got those tattoos. That should have been first. If that was that important to you, why didn't you bring your dang on dog?
Right. It's like you got to meet my dog for a label on this. And once you let him know there's an out, there's no label, what is to make this young man be trying to be faithful to you or faithful to any kind of relationship with you?
Exactly, exactly. She's wasting time and money because she's not exactly. Uh-oh, to go to Africa. Exactly. And why is it that you think that she's not ready for a relationship? I feel like Victoria is probably not ready for a romantic relationship right now because, for one thing, we see that she has a very deep wound that's unhealed. And for me, because that wound has a lot to do with her father, I think for women, a lot of times when we have those father wounds, it also affects how we connect with men romantically. So for her, I think you're absolutely right to go to Africa. I think that there's a very big gap here where she needs to get some counseling, get some help, and then start slow. When she starts to date again, start slow. In fact, don't even think of it as dating. Just think of having friendly relationships with guys. And I mean that seriously, like begin to understand how men think. Begin to see, what men are attracted to in her or not, and then determine if she wants to date from there, because there's a whole lot going on with Victoria, and she's always got that smile plastered on her face, but it's like she's very unhappy underneath. What do you think, Elsie?
I think she has wasted her own time, the show's time, and my time, because that wound you're talking about is going to be 10 times worse in a long distance relationship.
Yeah,
Why are we here? Why are
right.
we here? Why are we putting ourselves in this position to be distant from the person that we, are romantically involved with?
I think of something too. I want to go back to what you were saying about how she announced to. Let me go back to this table scene, because they're sitting at the table and they're talking all of this talk about. So Amber begins to ask them questions. Like what have you guys been doing? And so Victoria says, well, we've been around. He's been taking me all over to see the sights of Ireland and Dublin, and I've really enjoying myself. But when she gets to the point where she's saying, well, you know what, but I don't want to put any label on it. And we've thought about maybe he may come to New York. And then he says, well, it all depends if I like New York or not, how far this thing is going to go. And immediately I think to myself, I said, well, he doesn't like her for her. He's talking about if he comes to New York and he likes it, then he'll think about whether he could stay there. He's not saying anything about he wants to get closer to her. He wants to get to know her better. He's just talking about maybe New York could be somewhere to jump off with his comedian career. That's what I'm
Exactly.
hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
Exactly. Can I crash at your place while I do these few
Mm,
gigs? That's what it sounded like.
right.
And
Right.
show we could have another tattoo. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Another tattoo. Wait a minute. Kay Sharp says, may I mention she is nearly 40. She's had plenty of time to work on those wounds before going. Yet she has. But you know what? Everybody's timetable, Kay, is not the same. It's not the same. I mean, we don't know. I don't know. And this show is not really, I don't think, really explored or expressed to us, how much time it took for her to get her training or her education, the type of work that she does. Elsie, isn't she said something that she's with the liquor company and she does some kinds of sales rep or
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
some type of work? Hmm.
she's in liquor sales. I think is either
Okay.
beer or bourbon, she
Could be.
said, but she can be a digital nomad.
Okay, she could be a digital nomad, but I'm thinking because of all of the trauma that she's had to deal with. Okay, with her father being an addict, being incarcerated most of her life, him not reaching out to her when she needed him not being available even to reach out to her when she needed him. And then she's being raised by a grandmother. And I don't know how anybody feels about this, but the one thing I've noticed that when I've seen uh, conditions sometimes where children are being raised by a grandparent, there is not sometimes the ability for that grandparent to give as much as maybe a parent would because of their age, because sometimes they have health challenges. So she has been neglected most of her life. And I think that's why she accepts someone saying to her, well, we're not going to put a label on it. Okay, if you're not going to put a label on it, then how about we just call it a day? And, it was just nice meeting you, because I'm not going to go home and expect that we're going to have any kind of relationship. I'm going to go all the way back to New York and you're all the way here in Dublin, Ireland. And what? I think that we got a real relationship? That just doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense to you, Elsa?
No, but it makes some sense in her head because she's doing it.
And this is what I think too, to go to Africa. She does need to love herself. And that's what I'm saying, by healing that wound and really beginning to appreciate herself, because she does have a lot of fun characteristics. He has a good time with her because she's easygoing. She listens. I think she's warm hearted. She's tender hearted. Now, maybe in therapy, it could be. Now, I know there are people that aren't as physical as other. Everybody is different. I understand that. But could it be that maybe there is some reason that could be tied to her trauma why she doesn't like to be touched, why she doesn't like to be kissed. Do we even know if she even likes to have smecks? I mean, and these are things that if you're typically in your 30s, men that you're going to date typically are going to want to do those type of things, right? So who are you dating that doesn't want to have lay down and touch you, feel your body against theirs, and so forth and so on? I'm not going to go too much farther into that thought, but you know what I'm saying? I don't
And how is
know.
he supposed to know? How is he supposed to know what you're comfortable with if from the get go you said, I don't like holding hands and stuff? How is he supposed to know when you wish to do more than hold hands?
Right. Okay, now this is where I want to go. It's my thought process is coming in and out. Okay, so last week I was on my way to work, and I listened to the Steve Harvey show in the morning, right, on the radio. And he was saying something, and I said, oh my God, he hit it exactly with these couples that we cover from week to week, whether it's Ready to Love or whether it's Match Me Abroad, this show, right? He
Mm-hmm.
said it was what is her name? Shirley. Shirley Strawberry was talking about, they had this question. Young lady wrote in and she said, well, I'm with my guy. We've been together for about 4 years. I want to get married. I don't know if I should give him an ultimatum or not, but I really want to get married. And so basically, I'm going to paraphrase what Steve said. um, he was basically saying, right, if you want what you want, let your guy know, because there's no reason why women are out here giving men everything that they want and not getting anything of what they need. Right. And I feel this way about her. Like, she's saying this whole thing about no commitment. Oh, I don't need this. But like you said, K Sharp, she didn't expect a commitment. Then why is she so bothered that he didn't return her calls?
Right.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Right. Why are
Exactly.
we bothered? Why are we bothered if we don't care?
Right. And so moving on to the next scene we have with Victoria, she's at home. She's at the apartment and she's packing, and she is very upset because the thing that happened to her is he's not called her. They got lost. All this thing that happened, and apparently it happened to both, which, guys, has me kind of wondering for just a split second, did the two of those men go off together and dump the women? Did they ghost them on purpose? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, she's upset and she's saying, look, we got separated. He didn't call me. I didn't hear from him till the next morning. And then I get this text, and I text him and I say, hold on, let me see if I can take that off the screen. Um, she's saying, oh yeah, so I was ghosted on my last night in Ireland. Darren says, no, so sorry. My phone died. Do you believe that, El Cid? His phone died for like 5-6 hours.
Well, I don't. You see here. How can I put it this way? Initially, I'll be like, yeah, whatever. Even if your phone died when you got home, you didn't plug it in and let me know where you are. But I have, my eldest child who is an iPhone user. He doesn't leave the house at 100% charge, and sometimes his phone does die out there. So, off of my experience in just a regular day-to-day stuff, I could see that if you don't have a charger or portable charger, whatever. But it's the fact that at 2:05 a.m. she's sending him that she's ghosted. Why am I texting that man at 2:05 a.m.? I don't understand. But then he doesn't respond till 7:42 a.m.
Right. But wait a minute, when you say when she's texting him at 2:05 a.m., is that because that's about the time they got, I don't know if this is part of the night where they got separated, or is this another night when the two of them are out on a date? I'm lost.
It's got
Oh,
to
no,
be
what?
another night.
Oh,
She
it's a
says
different.
ghosted.
It's right. You're right. Okay, I
He
just
never
remember.
showed up.
He
He
never
pulled
showed up
a
for their date. He never
he
showed up
pulled
for
a
the date. You're right.
Bernardo.
He put he pulled a Bernardo. And here's the thing, you're right, because so she doesn't say, she's very careful in the episode not to say the time, but I'm gonna say he's supposed to come over that night. They were supposed to have dinner or go out or whatever, or even roll around, okay? And they just don't want the cameras to be there. I don't know. But let's say it's 8 o'clock. Okay, so he doesn't show, it's 8:30, 9 o'clock. Why am I waiting to 2 o'clock to send? Because I don't believe that she set a date to meet him at 2 o'clock in the morning or even 1:30 in the morning. Why did she wait so long?
Why do I text him? Period.
Well, I
He-
might have texted him because I remember now we're out of the country. We're in another country. I might have texted him. I might have called him, but I would have done it probably within an hour of him being late and not showing up, saying, "Hey, what's going on? Are you okay?" I would have asked him, "Was he okay?" Because things can happen to men too. Now we do know that, right?
Things can happen to men. He works at a nightclub. I don't know if you work in that night. Maybe that's the only excuse I
Oh,
would take. The only excuse
oh,
I would take
okay. That
is
nightclub.
2:05 and he was supposed to be, at the club putting on a performance till midnight and she was waiting a couple hours.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
only reason I would take. But we don't see dates here, so we don't know what date this was sent to see if he did, amateur night or not. But, sorry, my phone died. The fact that when he got home, he couldn't even, put the phone on the charger and say something. Yeah, I'm done with you.
Yeah, yeah, because that's what I've done at times, and I'm also an iPhone user, and they do die. But I try to keep a charger. This one time I was out though, and my car phone charger was not working. I had to get a new one later on. So when I got home, I immediately plugged my phone in and called that person to let them know what happened.
Right. I mean, uh it just sucky all the way around. These men are not showing their best foot forward. As I said, Bernardo, now we could add him to the list of I don't show up.
Hmm. Yep, we can add him to the list. But anyway, so she's saying, well, okay, I'm going to give him a chance to pick me up in the morning and take me to my pick to catch my plane to go back home. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't know if I would trust him to pick me up in the morning and take me to the airport for an international trip, but I'm sure that production has a backup plan in case he doesn't show, because I'm thinking at this point he's not going to show. What do you think?
I would not put my international plane ticket in his hands either. Now, I may word it like that, but it's actually he can ride to the airport with me while the driver, Paul, drives to the airport. He can ride with me, but what I'm not going to do is possibly miss my flight because you're going to ghost me again. Because what I'm not going to do is miss that flight. And I
Right,
already need to leave 3 hours before the flight departs.
right, right. Yeah, that's why I say I think production has a backup anyway, because they probably already figured they're aware of what's going on, and they probably figured this guy is not going to show. He's out. He's out of play. But why he waited? Like, well, was he just wanting to get time in on the show? What do you think? What do you reckon is his rationale for up until this point? He was showing up for her to some degree.
It's like I can't even hold your hand. I can't even kiss you. Why bother? It could be that realization he went out. Somebody's
Hmm.
showing some real interest in him. He's like, why would I do this show? Go on camera, go through all of this, and I can't even hold her hand or nothing. I
But
mean,
but has he tried? Do we know that? Has he even tried? I mean, because
why
I've not
wouldn't
heard.
you try when she says, I don't do PDA, I don't hold hands, I don't like this, I don't like
Oh,
why would you try?
true. Good point. Good point. Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't. I'd be her friend and I'd be afraid to bump her shoulder.
And that's the thing. I think is something going on with her, because I bet you she's not like that with her girlfriends. I bet you. I think there is something going on with her, and she needs to explore all of that in therapy. But in any case, we'll move along. I think if my laptop wants to act correctly. Uh, oh my goodness, what is it doing? My laptop is going crazy over here. All right, so we're on Harold. Harold, your guy. Harold
Yes,
is
Harold.
looking good. He's got a nice shirt on again, nice color for his skin. He has planned a very, very romantic date, a sunset boat ride on on a boat where they're going to have a four course meal, I believe he said. Um, what did you think about his date that he planned?
he is showing her again, a different side to him. Remember the first time he did the I Fly. She really liked that. She wanted him to take a leadership role, show who he is. The second date, he picked that lovely restaurant with her and Joe. And now here he is showing his romantic side. I can plan a romantic date just for the two of us. Harold is pulling out all the stops. And what I like is that she seems to be very receptive to it and receptive to his sarcasm and jokes.
Yeah, she seems to get him, and I do like that about her. They go, they pick out a seat, they sit down, and Harold starts to tell her uh, about how he feels, and that you know what, I decided to stay a little bit longer, and I want to get to know you better. I want to spend more time with you. To which she says, "Wow," and I'm not really sure how to read her. I'm not really sure. Is she excited? Not excited? What are your thoughts?
We've been showing Amber, Singapore Amber in a very edited state. And the last two times we saw her, we thought it was going to be one way and it's another. I think she's kind of like processing it. I think she's kind of like thinking about, okay, I expected him to be gone. Now he's not going to leave. It's
The way
not like
you
he's
say that.
expected him to be, out of here and gone, but now he's extending his trip. I think also they cut out the rest of what he said because he told Dolly, he's like, he wants her to make the decision to see him and
Mhm.
integrate him into her life. So I'm wondering if she's just sitting here processing that. Like, okay, well,
Oh,
how would I integrate him into my life? Because she was very open about, Joe is on his side and her friends are going to be on his side. And he said yes, and we could swap friends and my friends could be on your side. So they're talking future. But I don't think she expected. I wonder if she's overwhelmed that she didn't think he would do that for her.
that could be. Now that's a good point. That's a good point because the way men play today, and people, let me say people too, not just men, but the way people play in dating, she may not have expected that. But then again, now I got a question for you. Would you not suspect that or think that Dolly, the matchmaker, who was kind of a liaison between the two of them, wouldn't Dolly might have kind of hinted to her that she already knows Harold is serious, and how she knows that is because he's exceeded her expectations in every sense, and he's always moving things along quicker than she says it is a traditional Asian culture type of thing, right? So
Right.
wouldn't she kind of know that this is kind of anticipate some of these things to some degree, or no?
Well, she kind of told Harold, not to push. And at least Harold listened. Don't, propose,
Yeah,
right now. So
right,
he's listening to that, but he's pushing it along to the next step of we can spend time together without all these cameras
right,
and
right.
without all these people and just be regular degular. And
Hmm.
I think she's processing, okay, we don't have the cameras, we don't have a showtime. What would, she could be an overthinker as well.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. In some ways, her and Harold kind of remind me of one another because she does seem to overthink things. And
You,
in overthinking things, I think she almost seems to also have like get some type of anxiety.
right. At first, it can be daunting. It's like, well, does he expect all my time? I was trying to go back to work, rather than filming. You never know what she's thinking. But now she can have a conversation with him and say, well, okay, you're extending your sit. I hope you expecting me to babysit. It's like, what are your expectations, Harold, with your extended trip? Are you going to, like I said, he needs to go look at apartments. He needs to go look at, the market, the supermarket, look at how life could be, and then integrate into hers. She may be like, dag on it. He ain't going to have Dolly to, what is he going to be up to? It's a lot of things to think about because even though we see in them here, technically they're not alone on their dates.
Right,
So
right,
when the camera crew and everything is gone, it is just us.
right, right.
She could
That
be
was
thinking that too.
okay, okay. So they talk about He asked her about how her friend Joe is doing, which got a grin out of her. And she said, Joe is great. Joe is doing well. And yes, Joe is on your side. She is your advocate for sure, which made Harold smile. And she said, she said, well, you know what? Maybe I could transform some of your friends so that they would also be my advocate, which I thought was really sweet and cute. And Harold said, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So I think that Harold has an idea that he wants to integrate her into his life, but he also wants to make sure that she wants to integrate him into hers.
As they both should, as they should be thinking. But the mere fact that they are talking about,
Mhm.
meeting each other's friend group, more of hers and then his, I think it bodes well for the future.
Yes, yes. So we kind of left on a bit of a cliffhanger to find out next week what is really going on with her expression and that wow that she said, and whether or not she's going to be excited about Harold deciding to stay in Singapore, spend some extra time, minus the cameras and the production crew, to see what they really, really have. And if what they have is genuine, and if they're going to build on it, or if they're going to just go their separate ways as friends. So there we have that. And we're going to move on to our next dater. And that is Monica.
Mm-mm-mm.
I know you got some things to say about this young lady right here.
Mm-mm-mm.
Monica has went out without all of the camera and the crew. At least we're not shown a date, but she has actually went out on another date with Bruno. They went to the beach and they talked about what the future might look like. And Bruno said that he wanted to meet her mother, her daughter, and he was looking forward to coming to California. And even on that day, as they show us some pictures or some scenes from that, some footage, she really does not look like she's there for it. Okay. So now we see her, she's back in her room, she's by herself, and she's telling production, I've got to talk to Bruno. I need to let him know that he's not the right one for me. And I'm going, OMG. What do you think, Sid?
Okay, let me start off with Monica. Monica's behavior, how her body language
Okay.
told me Arrested Development.
Yes.
Her
Yes.
picking up her nails, her fingers curling into herself, her whiny tone. I
Yes.
don't know. I just like you. It was like, Monica, I need the grown up over 45 Monica to present herself.
Yes. Yes. One that has raised a very beautiful, intelligent daughter, right?
Exactly. And I'm sure her mama and her daughter would be talking to her exactly how I am now. Like, what the heck are you doing? And here's the thing, she is very selfish. Yes, I said it. Monica is very selfish.
Very, very. Oh, can we talk about it? Can we talk about it? Can we talk
Monica,
about it?
Monica knows Bernardo told her he want babies. And she knows she told him, I ain't having no more babies.
Mm-mm.
Why then are we even entertaining this man? And yet you wanted to be at a Christian country because you wanted a good Christian man that also ghosting you, hanging out with his friends and calling you like a booty call. So please, save that other foolishness. But the man said he wanted kids. That's when you should have been. It was lovely to meet you. So the selfishness is you want to keep this man knowing you can't fulfill what he wants in his life.
Right. Right. Has no intentions of fulfilling it. But now to be fair, to talk about Bernardo for a second, Bernardo may want kids, but Bernardo is perfectly happy, it seems, in just getting some at 2 o'clock
I would
when
be
the
happy
doors
too
open.
because I know you ain't trying to get pregnant by me. I'd be happy too. I'm gonna get some cookie and I can go my way.
Some cookie and milk.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah, because she don't. Yeah, she don't want. She doesn't want to have any children. But like you said, it's very interesting, right? If we go back to the very beginning of this series, this season, she told us that she wanted a good Christian Catholic man because she was Catholic. She liked an attractive man. Okay, nothing wrong with that. You come to town and you meet these good men, and you find out that one lifestyle is not going to fit into your lifestyle. That would be Bernardo because he wants children because he has none. Okay. But then you meet the other guy, Bruno, who has everything that you say that you want. He's successful. He has a good career. He's financially stable. He likes you. He wants to incorporate you into his life, and he doesn't care about having any children. It's not necessary for him to live happy. He says he just wants a good, solid partner who loves on him so he can love on her. And now she's just got all of this all screwed up, like totally screwed up. Totally, totally.
Absolutely screwed up. Because here's the thing. the the thing is, she came here looking for Bruno. She saw him before she even stepped foot on the plane.
That's right.
And
That's
it was
right.
about Bruno, Bruno, Bruno. Bruno has shown up. She sees where he lives. He makes it to the dates. If she calls him right away, he drops everything to come to her.
He does.
He brings gifts.
Yes,
Gifts.
gifts.
Okay?
I haven't seen Bernardo bring anything,
Other than tongue.
but a lot of a lot of time.
That's all he bring in. Shirt off and tongue. That's it. That's all we've seen of him. And a very, debonair attitude, because he said, because here's the thing, that's when I know a true player for real Bernardo is. When she walked him out, he said, "This ain't over.
Yep,
If you thought it was
he
over,
did. He
it ain't
did.
over."
It ain't over.
And she is proving that it ain't over. So you're going to turn down a good man, and this is how a good man like Bruno turns into a Bernardo. Because here you are, you have done nothing wrong. Then why are you changing your mind? And then he probably caught himself saying, "I don't want a woman like this if she gonna teeter totter and then decide she want another man."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is how Brunos end up being Bernardos. I'm sorry. He is doing
Mm-mm-mm.
everything right, but yet you cast him aside for the little spring fling. Yet you were here for a good Christian man. And Bruno ain't giving you any not Bruno, Bernardo ain't giving you any indication that you will be integrated in his life. Because guess what? He went to that party at his place, at the
Mm-hmm.
same foot volley place, and he did not invite you.
He didn't invite her. Nope, he did not invite her. And they were supposed to be going out on a date. Now, he claims that he thought he told her a different time, and that was why he was so late. But that's no excuse. That's
And
no
you had
excuse.
to you
Go
had
ahead.
to beg him. "That's not what I want. That I have to ask you to come
Mm-hmm.
see me." I mean, Monica. Monica annoys the heck out of me because I don't think she has fully matured. I'm sorry. She has not fully matured. And I hate to say that about a grown woman who has raised a wonderful child, but she has not grown, I should say, romantically. She hasn't grown. She
No,
hasn't learned. It's like she's
she
trying to
hasn't.
recapture her spring fling youth. And I don't like it because it's nothing wrong if she wanted Bernardo to pick Bernardo. Pick him. But
Right,
you're
right,
sitting
right.
there in front of you know what the right choice is. You say what the right choice is, but here you are falling for the foolishness. If it's the right choice, then you just made the wrong choice.
And to your point about the arrested development, she says to production, she says, it's like I've been doing the right thing for my whole adult life. I worked so
Yep.
hard. I kept the men away. I couldn't make the mistake of picking the wrong man because of my daughter, because my finances and what I was trying to accomplish and going to college and part time till I got my degree, till I got my career going, so that I could give a good life to my daughter, give her a good start, get her off to college. All of these things she's talking about. And I'm thinking to myself, so what I feel like she's saying underneath that, if you read between the lines, is I didn't get to have the fun that most 19, 20, 21, 22, and so on, 25 or so got to have because I was a mother at 19.
Exactly. She's reliving the youth.
Yeah.
She's reliving the youth. And here's the thing, you know, I always tell y'all, like Johnny Cash say, I see that train coming around the bend because he gonna dump her for a younger model because he wants children.
Yeah.
And he gonna string her along as his American lady because the bartender's like, well, what is it like dating an American? Like it's a freaking novelty.
Right, right, like a fetish, or like I have a friend who brought someone here from another country, and I'm gonna tell you something. He was all in and all good till he got here, and then he met the other younger women here. So,
Right.
yeah, mhm,
Right.
mhm,
And he knows he is, as they would call him, Bernardo is a Lothario. Okay.
Lothario, yes.
He is definitely knows his appeal as a Brazilian man that is fit. He ain't the type of figure I like, but I can
Mm-mm, me
see
neither.
he is marketable and she is
Mhm.
falling for the foolishness.
Falling for the foolishness, girl. Well, listen. So finally, Bruno gets there in person, and Bruno, she begins to tell him. She says, Bruno,
Hold on, he came there with a what?
oh, with a gift,
With a
with a gift,
gift.
with a gift, with a gift. He
A
came there with a
personalized gift.
personalized. We're gonna get to that in a second, but listen. So she's telling him. She says, Bruno, you are wonderful. What's that line that they had in the movie? You is smart.
You is kind.
You
You
is
is
kind.
important.
You is important. She was giving him all of that rigmarole. She was like, yes, but, and he's like, well, what's the problem, Monica? She's like, well, there's no problem because you are all of these things, my dear. However, I think I made I should have picked the other guy. I should have picked Bernardo. And to which, he's so calm and he's so understanding. He's so caring and concerned. He says, but wait, but I thought you had decided. You took your time and you decided you picked me. What, do you like him better than you like me? And that look on her face, the look on Monica's face when he said, do you like Bernardo better than you like me? It was like she clearly wanted to say yes. She clearly wanted to say yes, but she couldn't because she knew that would have been way, 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 way too rude. This guy got emotional. He starts to cry. She says, "Wait a minute. You don't have to cry, baby. It's come on now. It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. There are other women. You got everything going for you." But what got me was when he got up and he said, "But you know what?" He said, "I wish you the best. I want you to have a good life." He said, "But you know what?" He said, "Your indecisiveness, your immaturity." And she got upset and she had the nerve to raise up with her pride and say, "Well, this could have happened to anybody. What are you talking about?" I started to scream and shout at my TV, "Karen!"
Aubrey?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. No, I thought we lost you. Um, y- uh, Monica,
It
Monica,
was
Monica.
such a moment, such a caring moment. Like how you take him being the victim and make yourself the victim instead. I don't understand.
She says life doesn't happen the way you want it to sometimes. And I felt like she wasn't just telling it to him, she was telling it to herself. I wonder if she has heard that so many times.
Ah,
And that was, I was like, this is how tables get turned, and this is how we get to, I'd like to see your manager. This is how we get there. Okay. Um, Bruno was confused, and you know, he may have done that, but I think he's sniffling. I didn't see his cheeks wet not one time, but okay. He may be emotional. He doesn't want to do that. But you've embarrassed this man on camera, Monica.
very much so.
And then she's like, oh, you can find, he's like, I got you the gift. I got, you this gift. It has Monica on the shirt. And she's like, well, you can give it to somebody else. That's when I think he kind of was like very flippant with her. And I would have been flippant. He handled it with grace. I would not have been that graceful. He's like, well, then what? I'm going to find another Monica. somewhere I'm going to find another Monica in this city and just give her the gift that was meant for you. I mean, it was so flippant the way she said you could
She
find
said it.
somebody else, like he was disposable, like her people are disposable. I was really pissed off when she said, well, you could find somebody else. It was like, I'm done with you. I don't want to face what I've done by facing you, and you're dismissed. That's how I felt.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Very dismissive. Very, very dismissive. And I'm sorry if I scared you guys that I got thrown off the air from my screen.
Right, you got loud, and then we didn't hear anything. We heard carrot, and that's it. And I was like, wait a minute, did her volume get snatched?
No, I'm
But
here.
he wanted to. I know he wanted to bless her. Okay, and that doesn't mean true blessings from the Catholic Church, y'all. He wanted to bless her, give her
He
a
did.
tongue lashing.
You could tell he did, but he's too classy and mature. Pay attention, Monica. Something you can learn from. He's too mature to do that. I mean, her decision to pick Bruno, if she could say, well, it's based upon um the matchmaker who said, well, Bruno is much more for you. And I think the other guy might be a little bit of a player. But, at the end of the day, she's a grown woman. She had the right to choose whomever she wanted. Don't
Right,
blame it
she
on
had a
anybody
choice.
else. She had a
Right,
choice.
right. She had free will and a choice, and she chose Bruno. But if you didn't want him, you should have picked Bernardo, no matter what it may have cost you from hearing it from the matchmaker or whatever. But you are not, Monica, you are not on the same level as Bernardo. Y'all don't want the same things in life. You're not at the same stage in life.
Mm-mm.
He is vacation fun. I'm sorry to be
That's
dismissive of
right.
him as a person. People are more than vacation fun, but he's vacation fun.
He vacation
Bruno
fun.
Bruno is the foundation in which you will wish to build your family, or they would say build your church upon. But again, she wants to people please the matchmaker,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're like, oh my god, and then here we go. Now, which one is more embarrassing, Monica?
Mm-hmm.
Flipping the script or choosing the person you really wanted in the beginning? But just because
Right.
you want that person doesn't mean they're for you. And this is this is not to be disrespectful, it's just to be reflective. I wonder if this is also how Monica chose her daughter's father. This was not someone that was right for her, but she made the
Ooh.
choice anyway. And, her life took this trajectory.
And she's doing it again because oftentimes, and I can raise my hand on this one, oftentimes as women, as people, we have patterns and sometimes we repeat those patterns, right?
Right. She's being selfish. This is who I want. This is what I want. But is he right for you? Because all I see with Bernardo is heartache for her. And I'm sorry with her. The way she handled Bruno, I'm like, if Bernardo breaks her heart, I have no tissue for her tears.
Right, right. And you know what? To the selfish part, it was funny because when she was sitting along and she was talking, she was sitting alone in her hotel room and she was talking to us and preparing us to what she was about to do to Bruno. And she kept talking about how she felt and how she felt and how she felt and how she felt. This is what I thought, like to what you're saying, it sounded so selfish because all she talked about was, I feel this way, and I feel that way, and I feel this way, and no consideration or thought to, or no comments about how is Bruno gonna feel.
Right. How
You
hurt
you
is he going to feel?
How hurt is he gonna feel? One, most importantly, and two, though, also, how embarrassed is he gonna feel on national TV that you did this to him? And
I would
three,
be seething.
seething, right? And three, how immature are you? Have you just really? Do you even like? There's some moments and sometime if you have any kind of self awareness where you have to like listen at yourself and say, "Well, that even sounds crazy to even me." Like
I,
she didn't hear herself speaking these words and thinking to herself, this sounds crazy. This sounds absolutely crazy. I'm gonna bring home to my daughter this guy Bernardo. Hell, he might even be flirting with your daughter. Like what?
Or her friends,
or
you
her
know.
friends. Yeah, because he's given that serious player vibe. This is a guy that you would bring home to America, to the U.S. and this guy is also giving off vibes like, he could be that green card person that person that's chasing that green card. I don't know. I hate to think like that, but he's giving off some of those vibes.
Next up, 90 Day Fiance.
Exactly, exactly where we're gonna
Ain't
be.
it on TLC too?
It's on TLC
There
too.
you go. Next up, 90 Day Fiance, Monica and Bernardo.
Oh, okay. They're gonna do a spinoff. She already
Right.
did so much better with Bruno. I mean, Bruno is, oh my God.
Bruno don't even want to come to America. He is happy to build a life with
He
her in Brazil.
he is, and that's the thing that I like about it, that he could probably go either or, but he's not insisting upon moving to the US. So you don't get that sense that it's not about her, it's about that piece of paper.
Exactly. It is about that piece of paper, probably. And I don't know Bernardo, but that's what the edit is showing, that he's about the, laying hands and not in the blessings kind of way. Okay. But it was, I wonder, here's my other wonder. I wonder if production forced her to have to see Bruno and tell them, or did she accept that she had to do that? Because I could see her hiding behind that phone and just
Hmm.
sending him an I'm sorry text. I can't do this anymore. And
Right.
and being done with Bruno. I wonder if production
I
forced it,
think
because
I
the
think they forced
flowers, right, the
her.
flowers in her room, we know is Bruno. Now he
Hmm.
came thinking he's having a wonderful time seeing her. She wants to see me again. The flowers ain't even wilted, y'all. So y'all know it's only at least within the next day or so.
Right.
And here we are with the T-shirt for her. Probably says "I love Monica" on it. And
Hmm.
here you are telling this man this thing, and then you want to curl up into yourself like if he's the one that's in the wrong, when you're clearly, giving him, breaking his heart, giving him like a kind of tongue lashing, like, yeah, I said it was you, but you ain't really good enough for me. I'm sorry.
Hmm. Hmm. It wasn't. It was like, it was so cruel. And Bruno, I think he had every right if he was upset. I think he had every right to be upset because she basically played in his face. She
She did. She
basically
played in
played in
all
his
of our
face.
face. Yeah.
All of our faces. And then, like, think back to when they were in the room together and she had to pick between the two men, right? And one was on either side of her. And remember when when Bruno when Bruno was kissing her and kissing her up and down. Okay, he was going a little far with that. And she was like pushing him away, like, no, we shouldn't do this. Like, he's right there, you know. And even when she walked the other fellow out, when she walked Bernardo out, she was way too into Bernardo for her to have picked Bruno. We all saw that, right?
We did. And here's the other disrespectful thing: Bernardo watched you get kissed up and kiss up Bruno when you made your decision, and he's willing to come behind that.
Yeah, because he
What do
don't
you
want
think?
nothing. He don't want
Right,
nothing from her. Nothing
right,
serious.
right. He just want his hand in a cookie jar. That's it.
And maybe some other part of his anatomy too, but
Hey, that's as much as YouTube will allow us to say.
that's as much. Yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. My Lord. I don't know about Monica. I had hopes that Monica might mature on this whole experience and experiment, but it was not to be the case.
Please don't bring her back for season 3, y'all. Do not bring Monica back. I'm
What
serious.
well, wait a minute. What if they bring her back and Tony back? Because maybe they might grow in this year in between gaps of season.
Please,
What if,
new cast. New cast. I will only take Victoria back.
oh, Victoria? Okay, okay, Victoria. What about your boy Harold?
Harold need to go sit down somewhere.
Harold need to go sit down somewhere
Yeah,
and
he already had 2 seasons. It should be a max 2 seasons, even though I don't want Monica and Tony coming back.
like presidential terms up until recently.
Exactly, exactly. 2 consecutive terms and gone. So
Well,
Harold, if this don't work out, I'm sorry. I really do like you. You need to be on another show,
let's see
not
what
on
the
this
people are
one.
saying before we move on. Let me see what these people are saying over here because we're gonna move on to our next dater. But the people have some more things to say. Let's see. Oh, wait, here we go. Bruto kissing her like crazy. If Bernardo would like her after that. I know, right? Because most men, if they saw that, no, or they're laughing. And Plain Genie says, "Oh no, not poor Harold. Don't time limit poor Harold."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're on to our next dater. And I did enjoy this dater right here. What did you think about our girl? What did you think about our girl Sarah?
So Sarah shows us that she's being wined and dined all over Singapore and she's liking it. So
Mm-hmm.
she, right here, she had the black hair, I would definitely think that she was Mrs. Adams, Morticia.
Morticia. Oh yes. Yes.
She was giving me Morticia vibes. We also get to see golly, I always forget his name.
EJ. EJ.
EJ. We get to see EJ, whining and dining, and he already knows what she likes to drink. He is giving her jokes about the prawns that they had the time before. They're getting a little more comfortable with each other. So I'm glad he foregoed his competition to spend
Yeah.
more time. Because even if it don't work out with Sarah, EJ
Hmm.
certainly his DMs are going to be full.
They're gonna be full. They are gonna be full. But also, I think beyond that, on a less superficial level, I think that sometimes we meet people in our dating lives, and if we learning how to be more vulnerable, how to give more of ourselves in the hopes for love, I think it's not ever really wasted because you're learning a behavior, right? And so
Right.
when you meet the right person, you now know how to do that, how to give more of yourself, how to be more present. And I think EJ is learning these things with as he goes along with Sarah, and I think she's learning some things too.
Yes, they're both learning from each other. So EJ is definitely knowing that he may have a plan for his future, but that is his plan for his future on his own. He's got to incorporate what his partner's plan for their future and their future together may look like. Sarah has learned to speak up for herself and have these difficult conversations because she said she had a man in her past that strung her along, that said he wanted a family, and here she is at 35 and still no family. So they're both learning from each other. And she's like, yeah, you want your 2 to 3 year plan? That's your plan. It may turn into 5, 6, 8 years. I ain't got that kind of time. So how can we compromise? And
Right,
he's like,
right.
we got to spend more time together. And she's like, time is what I don't have. Now, Sarah should have learned from Cindy from Love is Blind France and freeze them eggs early o'clock.
And she may still may be able to do that. She may still do that. But mm, I'm just looking at what Plain Janie is saying in that she's rushing this man. Um, I think that she's letting him know what she needs and what she desires and what her goals are. And I don't think that she's absolutely rushing him. I think he has to make a decision, and he's aware that he's going to have to make a decision. We could say a compromise even, because he's saying 2 years, but I like what she's saying, and she is so right, because who among us hasn't had a man to tell us that they're going to do XYZ in 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever the date is, and that time came and went, and he did not do that, right? And so this
Right.
is something that is very serious to her. We're not talking about him buying her a new Chanel bag or whatever the current bag is. I don't know because I'm not into that stuff. But we're not talking about anything superficial. We're talking about a human being. She wants to bring forth a child. She wants to bring forth life with him. And if he's not going to be ready in a year or two, he's saying 2 years. Uh, but what she's pointing out is that who's to say in 2 years his business will be where he wants it to be? Who's to say that he won't grab onto another country that he wants to open another one of his gems in? And that's the thing about ambition. It can be unlimited, but what is finite is the time that she has to have a child. Okay.
Right. And I agree, Plain Janie, they are not committed. It may seem like she's rushing him, but she's like, take it or leave it. I don't think she's trying to push him other than be aware that I don't have the kind of time that you
Mm-hmm.
have.
Mhm.
My biological clock has an expiration date, and it's all good and well. You want your 2 years, but I don't have 5 years, to put this on hold, because what if we don't work out? Then I got to spend another 2 years, working on a relationship with another gentleman. So she's just trying to say, hey, 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 in all of the things swirling in your head and the plans that you're making, here's a caveat. Here's one more thing to juggle with those plans.
Mm. Yeah, and a lot of people in the chat are agreeing with you, too, Plain Janie. K Sharp, for one, has said, yes, she is. I know a past she has a past failed in that area, but she should not bring that into this new situation.
But
I
she
think
can't help but bring it, because she
hmm
she has a finite time to have a child. She has to bring it up. If that was an issue before because she didn't bring it up, she got to bring it up now, because she has even less time now.
right, right. And then to go to Africa, Sarah is living in a fantasy world. What rational man would drastically alter his life because a desperate woman from thousands of miles away wants to urgently get married and have children? But I think the part you're leaving out to go to Africa is, does he feel the same way? So if he
Right.
doesn't feel the same way and she realizes it, then she's living in a fantasy world. But from the sparkle that I see in EJ's eyes, and how he treats her. Because did you notice on this date, the first thing he asked her before they could even sit down good, he said, "Is this to your liking? How do you feel about
Yep.
this restaurant?"
Yep.
This man is interested in serving her. And when a man is interested in serving you, that typically means, if they're not faking it, that means that they care about you and they care about your feelings. So I'm not so sure that Sarah's living in a fantasy world.
Yeah, I see EJ is completely intrigued by her. She is by him, even from the prawn date, even by sitting by the pool when he brought her the keychain. And I noticed he was kind of looking to see if she's going to snob up because it's just a keychain. She was so appreciative of the gift. He is really interested in her. They could
Yeah.
make it work, but here's my problem.
What's the problem? What's the problem
Sa-
now? What is the
Sarah,
problem? Okay.
Sarah ain't talking about leaving Texas. Is she gonna be living in Singapore? I ain't heard nothing about having this child, having this family in Singapore.
That's a good question and a good point, because I have not heard her say anything, but I noticed that he's talked about Texas and going there, and the cowboy boots and the whole rodeo thing. And everybody is so tickled because it's funny how people from other parts of the world can have stereotypes or ideals that are fantasy about what is really like in reality here in America. Like in Texas, like she said, it's not all the whole cowboy thing and riding horses through the streets. It's really not. Like once or twice a year, the rodeo comes to town in Texas, and that's it.
There are other parts of the country where they do ride the horse to Walmart. It just ain't always Texas.
It just ain't always Texas. No, it's not.
But I
It's
have
it's
not heard her say she going to Singapore. I have
nope,
not heard her mama say that she moving to Singapore, because
nope.
Sarah mama ain't gonna be far from her grandkid.
No, she will not be. She
So
will not.
again, that's
Mhm.
where the fantasy is.
Mm. But now, in him talking about coming to Texas and the horses and the whole cowboy thing, has it crossed your mind or occurred to you? You think it's occurred to him? I'm sure it has. That if he were to move to uh, Texas, move to the U.S., that he could also open a gym there. I mean, it's not like with travel being what it is today, it's not like he cannot run his various businesses. It'll be a worldwide net of gyms, right?
Yeah, but he gonna be far too from the bodybuilding competitions. He gonna be far. Yes,
We
he
don't have
can.
we don't have bodybuilding over here in the US?
Not to the caliber of the
Oh.
UAE, not to the
Oh.
caliber of Indonesia, not to those calibers.
Oh.
So I'm sorry. He trying to expand to Bali. Yes, Sarah, you could go have the kid in the US, get the child, make sure have a US passport. But again, you are not going to be raising this child far from his dad.
But where will okay, so what is it your ideal of what you think if the two of them were to work things out and they are committed to one another and they're now talking marriage, they're married, let's say a year down the road. What are you saying? What's the compromise? How does it work out with this baby thing? Is she moving over there to Singapore?
She got to move to Singapore or Bali or follow him, hitch her wagon to his horse, and keep it pushing. And her mama coming too.
Her mom probably gonna have to come too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, but it's like, are you willing to give up your lifestyle in the U.S.? That's what EJ needs to come back with. Are you willing to give up living in the U.S. for the baby and the husband and all of that?
Right.
I don't think so. I don't think her bejeweled jackets and stuff is going to sell like that in Singapore. But I don't know the Singapore market.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
And
okay.
if she do decide to be in Singapore and she does decide to bejewel and send to the U.S., now she got to deal with tariffs.
Not the T word. Not the T word.
There's another T word I could use between EJ and Sarah, but I won't.
Okay. Oh no, not that word. I'm trying to think which word you're thinking about because there's a couple of comments here, so I didn't get a chance. I'm going to get into these comments for a second. K Sharp says there's even more reason to slow down to know each other because you're intentionally deciding to have a child. Yes, I definitely agree with that. Which all the more not to rush things. He can consider her time, but it should not be his interest. His issue. I'm sorry, his issue should not be his issue. But if he cares about her and he wants to have children with her, it should be his concern. He should be concerned about it. I mean, because otherwise, if he's not concerned about it, then what is he really dating her for? Because she's already expressed to him, and they've already expressed to each other that they both agree that they want, one, to be married, and two, they want to have a family. Now, the difference is his idea and outlook on family and children is further out than hers. But he's a male. He can have kids in his 70s. So, if you don't really care about having a kid when you're young with the woman of your dreams that you love, then, let her know that. That's all she's saying, I think. Let her know that. Because she's already had this happen to her once before. She was with the guy for 5 years, and this happened to her.
Why can't she be like Harold and extend her stay? he already sacrificed a trip to stay and spend time with her. Why can't she extend her trip?
You know what? And she brought that up in this episode. She brought that up that the fact that he has spent more time, it just really is resonated with her, and they've got to do many more things. So you're right. You're absolutely right on that aspect.
It's that way she can learn who he is without the cameras.
Right. And it's a wonder the dating coach hasn't brought that up. It's a wonder the dating coach hasn't brought that
idea. She probably wants Sarah gone too.
Oh, stop it.
Because Sarah ain't listening to her coach. At least she wasn't.
Okay, Plain Janie is saying, yes, he likes her a lot. So when he falls in love, he will give her what she wants. And that's what I'm seeing, because didn't he say something to that effect? He said, for right now, we're infatuated with one another. But when we are in love, that's when love causes you to make those sacrifices.
Yep. He said, are we full on in love? No. But we can spend the time to get there.
Yeah. But you know what? It's coming up on this next episode. I don't know. I don't know if he's not falling in love with her. I can't tell by the way he may be moving, because I got a feeling that he's going after her. He's going after her like he really wants her. I don't know. You guys are saying men need more time to fall in love. All the questions will make him run. No man will give you a baby. Meeting you 2 times. He's met her more than 2 times, Plain Janie. What do you say? What do you say, Elsie?
They don't take that long. They like to tell us they take long. They need some time to process.
It really does. It really does.
If you hear many people, you would hear their love story of the man would say, hey, I knew right away that I couldn't play around with you, and you were going to be my wife. You hear that.
My dad knew for my mom. He knew on the second or third date. They got married, I think 3 or 4 months into it was either 3 to 6 months between when they first met, and they were a blind date. But let me say this, and This to me is powerful. A lot of people don't get this, and it doesn't happen a lot as much these days. But my mom and my dad were put together on a blind date by people that knew them well. You know what I'm saying? People that were respectable, family oriented, married themselves, and knew both of them individually well, so that they had been vetted for each other when they came together. That's to me. And yeah, it doesn't, men that I've ever met, it's never taken a man a long time to fall in love with a woman. He either falls in love with her or he doesn't. Men will say that it takes them a long time, but I think that's a bit of game that you're getting from the men, because that's
That's
not
so
really.
you don't nag them about falling in love.
No, you don't nag them about it, but it can happen quickly though. It can happen very quickly. Okay, so K Sharp says that EJ has built a reputation over in Singapore. Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
believe it. I
he has
believe
his
it.
gym. Yeah, his gym. He's also, he won some prizes with bodybuilding. So yeah, he has a reputation.
Okay, now what is it that EJ should have said? Or did I, because it's
He
something
should
she,
have asked her if she would come to Singapore,
you mean extend her stay? She's already there.
extend her stay, or would she? We haven't heard anything with her, coming and
Oh,
living in Singapore.
right. He hasn't asked her that question. Okay, yes, I definitely agree with that. Definitely. I wanna I want to run to you, Whitney Houston, in the airport. Yeah, that's what we're seeing. I mean, it's looking like the signs are there. He's about to go get his girl. I don't care what y'all saying about it take a long time to fall in love. Yada 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 yada. Boy, this man, y'all ain't paying attention to the way he's looking at her. Y'all ain't paying attention to the
We're
way
paying attention. He knows what she likes to drink. He's paying attention to how she likes
yes,
to sit. He is putting his back to the door. Most men don't
yes.
do that.
Thank
I'm paying
you.
attention.
Okay,
I,
you paying.
I'm paying attention. The way he was bantering with her with doing the prawns, and the way that she said, "I'll do this, but I'm not gonna handle the prawns." He did it for her. He cooked it for her. I have seen EJ is paying attention and doing those things. He is pleasantly surprised after that first date
Yeah.
that
He thought she was
she
a
has
bimbo.
depth.
Remember we heard that? He said she kind of, to be fair, she kind of looks a little bit like a bimbo. He said, but let me get to know her. Let me talk to her and let me see what we're working with here. But he thought that she looked like a bimbo from that first date in
And
the
I think that's
beginning.
why he's taking her around as, the next one, her looks. He's taking her around Singapore to see people's reactions to her too. If I'm showing up with this
Oh.
lady all over Singapore, how are people going to look at me, perceive me, and will she be accepted by the community at large? I think that too is what he's doing. And how would she adjust to the community at large? So again,
Mm.
I'm thinking he doing all this, and in this setting,
Hmm.
looking at, this was a little more posh restaurant. He's looking
Yeah.
to see, how is she dressing, how is she doing this, da 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 da, and how are the people adjusting to her? How are people looking at me being a native Singaporean and this, blonde haired lady? How are they
Hmm.
going to accept us being a couple?
Now I had to go back, since you pointed that out. I had to go back to look at this picture of her. If you recall, now the way she is dressed here with him, she is much, much more conservative than she was with the other dates, with the other
Yep.
gentlemen. And I told you this before last week when we saw her, the pink lipstick. She's toned down the makeup. The makeup was a lot louder before, and it is finally, now she is someone that is actually listening to her matchmaker, because Dolly has already told her, listen, you can't be out here looking like a harlot. Singapore is not that culture. It's not about that.
You have to think about the area, the Asian culture, and the women who usually wear a lot of makeup. Who are they? They are the geishas.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
You
geishas.
have to think about what it means culturally if you're looking for a husband of that culture. So I do like, their banter. I do like their conversations. I like how they interact with each other. She is also allowing EJ to take care of her. He's like, what would you like to have? What are you in the mood for? And she's like, oh, I think I'll have this. And if you look at it, the way they edited it, it's like he gives the waiter the drink order. He's the one
Mm-hmm.
taking
Mm-hmm.
that to the forefront. So I'm seeing where this can work, but again, distance is an issue.
It is an issue. But I want to say this last thing before we move on to our last and final dater for this week.
The main event.
The main event. And if you thought I hollered when I said Karen, but okay, we'll get back to that in a second. But listen, but this is what I want to point out, and this is what I do like about her. Regardless of people are saying that, she's pushing him, she's rushing him. What I personally do like about what Sarah is doing is she's letting him know, while I'm willing to work with you and I support you in what you're doing, and I think she has been nothing but supportive. And he's even said that he sees and feels in her that she's very supportive of his gym, his goals, his ambitions. But she's also letting him know, hey, listen, I've got a side of me too. I want to create a family with you. And if we're going to create a family, we have a set amount of time. And she's not backing down on that. She's not hitting him over the head with it. She's not giving him an ultimatum, but she is letting him know that she's firm on this and she's standing on it. I like that. I like that about her, because a lot of women, like we just seen earlier with Monica, how wishy-washy and back and forth she is about things, right? How indecisive. You cannot be indecisive as a person if you're going to pursue the life that you love and want to live the life that you want to create a life that you love. You can't be wishy-washy. You've got to let people know. And because if he's not the guy for her, oh well, he's just not the
Right.
guy for her.
Right. You have dated around Singapore. You have, caught the flavor of the men there, and you don't like it. You can go home. And if he's not willing to adjust to what you need, that's okay. She's not trying to say, hey, stop wasting my time. She's just saying, hey, this is what I got to stand on. Are you with me or not? But it's okay if you're not. My dreams and wants for my life doesn't necessarily have to be yours, for your life.
No, they absolutely don't. They absolutely don't. And that's why, and I think it's important. And I think the fact that someone pointed out in our comments earlier tonight, the fact that what happened to her with this other guy, 5 years, they were together. He led her on. They were engaged to be married. But at the very end, before they got married, he told her, he said, listen, I've changed my mind. I don't want to have children. I'm good with not having children. I think it's good that she is setting this tone now, because not saying that EJ is that guy from her past. He's not that guy at all. But it's not impossible for two different men to turn around and do the same similar thing. It's not impossible. It's just not.
Exactly.
So okay, here we go. Our girl Amber. Our girl Amber. It started off well enough with Amber. They were doing that cooking thing, like I said, with the double date with Victoria and Darren. And my boy Glenn was saying, you know what? I can't turn you up, but I can turn you on. And when he said that, I was like, okay, you know what? It's just what Katarina was telling us. He is a player. What did you think, Elsie?
He was there to have a good time. He was there, I'm sorry.
Not for a long time, huh?
Not for a long time, but it seemed pretty dull, though, with Victoria and her dude. I'm sorry. So he felt like we need to up this party. We got to get this party started. But yes, he is about antics. He is about showmanship, Mr. Ireland that he is. Yes. He's playing for the camera.
But that's what I was just about to say. Was he doing that for her? Was he doing that for the cameras? Because let's talk about this. Let's get back a little bit into this too. Darren and Victoria. Victoria said that Glenn was actually wearing more makeup than she was, and that at one point that he even asked to borrow Amber's makeup. And I'm like, what makeup of Amber's could he have possibly borrowed? Like
eyeliner, eyebrow, pencil.
And I was looking at it. He had all of that going on. I told you this man was too metro for me, y'all. I told you he was too metro for me. And so Victoria, she had me cracking up. She said, he's not my type at all. She said, I don't go for all the muscles, and I don't go for all that overly groomed look. And I'm right with you, Victoria. I'm right with you, except for the muscle part. Now, I love me some muscles, okay? But the overly groomed and that metrosexual, y'all can have that. Y'all can have that.
He probably smells like gel and hairspray. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That what came to mind to me. That's what came to mind.
No,
I'm sorry.
his hairstyle all stacked on top and then cut off on the side. I don't like that. There's no blending being done. I
No,
don't
they
know.
don't do that.
I
That
don't
no,
know who
there's no
told.
fade.
There's no girl. I don't know who told them that looked good. That looks terrible. That looks terrible to me. And yes,
There's no fade. There's no
he's
fade at all.
he's got the muscles. He got the muscle. But see, but what I guess my point though too is everything with him when he's around her. Well, now you know what she did do the mustache thing of Majiggy when she was drinking the what was that, the Irish coffee.
Yes, yes, I have a short with that.
And
Hmm.
you said, yeah, you said that might be problematic when she did that, because what did that look like when she turned to him with that all that creamy white froth?
Exactly, on her top lip, because he is kissing her this entire scene. He is going in for pecks.
But I think that the guy, and then what really got it too. Okay, so Darren said, well, wait a minute, when Glenn started saying, well, you know what, he could go to Texas, and because these are the things that you do for love, and then everybody at the table turned and said, you love her? And he said, well, and they said, well, she's in Texas. He said, yeah, but would you go to Texas? He said, yeah, Amber. He said, Amber's in Texas. This is what he said. He said, Amber's in Texas. So he didn't say that he loved Amber. He said that he would go to Texas because Amber's in Texas. That's
He's
where the
media
cameras
trained.
are. That's where the cameras are. That's
Yep.
where that U.S. success story is. Okay, that's
Mhm.
where you can, the yellow brick road and all the things that foreigners and people from around the world dream about U.S. that may or may not be true. But that's what he's thinking. He's thinking, I could turn Mr. Ireland into maybe Mr. Universe over there in the U.S. That's what I
Right.
saw. I saw stars in his eyes. Did you see stars
Right.
in his eyes, LC?
Yes, he could get a modeling career.
Yeah, an acting career. He could get his own show. He could be on 90 Day Fiance.
He could be. He could be. He could be, getting his work visa and coming over here and working, and Amber and not see him not one time. But
Mhm.
well, even if he come 90 Day Fiance, he gotta wait for the work visa anyway. He'll get on her nerves. Oh my word. But yeah, he looks like this is my, ticket to the US. I'm gonna hold on to it tight, and I'm giving her what she wants. And I'm gonna say I could love her, but he ain't really saying he love Amber. Not at all. He
No,
said,
he
"That's
didn't.
what you came for, right? You came for love, right?"
You came for love. That's what he said. He didn't say that Amber was his love. He said, but that's what she came for. She came for love. And see, this is what I'm getting back to. Now, y'all acting like y'all ain't hearing me here, but it was mighty funny that Glenn and Darren, the way they was laughing at both the ladies, them two been talking. They didn't
Yep.
exchange cell phone numbers, and they've been talking. And it is no mystery that when Amber fast forward after this cooking class was over with, right? Because the cooking class was over with, all right. That bad food that they was cooking, they barely was able to get that down, okay? They barely was able to get that down. But then Amber said that she had been wanting to experience the Dublin nightlife, right? So the four of them went out, right? They get to the club, and the first club they get to, Amber goes to the bathroom without Victoria. What do you think about that, LC?
Absolutely unsafe. I don't know who Amber is. Absolutely unsafe. There ain't no way I'm going to a club, a nightclub, bathroom, someplace I've never been, and there is an option for another lady to go with me that I'm going by myself.
Right. Right. So what do you think she should have done? She should have invited Victoria to go with her.
She should have invited Victoria to go with her, but even if Victoria's not there, like if it is Glenn's friends only, Glenn needed to know she go into the bathroom. I'm gonna be back 5 minutes.
Right. But now, to be fair, so if he doesn't see her, she's disappeared for 5-10 minutes. Is he supposed to just jump in his car, that fancy sports car that we saw him that he took Amber out on the first date? Is he supposed to just jump into that with Darren and ride off into the wind? And I guess Darren and Victoria, like the three of them, just gonna leave her? Like what?
Exactly. Your fellow American left you. Your fellow American left you. Nobody knew she went to the bathroom. It's sounding like that. Sound like nobody knew where she went, because I don't think Victoria would have, said like, "Oh, y'all, we're leaving her." It's probably like, "I don't see her. I don't see her anywhere." Did she go back to the hotel?
I mean, like, but don't you check? Like, if I'm with my girls, I mean, like, I'm gonna check. I'm like, hold on a minute, guys. Hold on, right here. Stay right here by this and whatever the landmark is. You know what I'm saying? I will be right back. I'm going into the ladies' room to see what is going on with Amber. Did she fall down into the toilet seat, or what's going on?
Victoria didn't even think that. That's your fellow American, and you expect Glenn to think a whole bunch more than that.
Wow. I
That's
don't
my
know.
that's my whole thing. It's like, how is this happening? How is it that you're going to the bathroom and nobody else knows? They're probably like, okay, where is she? Nobody is checking on you. Nobody knows where you are.
Hmm.
She didn't tell him she was going to the bathroom, but after the fact, when I guess, there was a line at the bathroom, it took her quite a bit of time. They're like, I think she went home. It's probably like, I don't want to, maybe she's upset with me. Maybe I did something wrong. I don't really want to hear it. Let's go to the next bar. It could be something like that.
I'm thinking, because remember I told you this last week. I'm thinking that Amber, he was already starting to get on Amber's nerve. If you look at this picture right here, and this is before they went out, um, I think the things that he was saying and doing, I think that she began to realize and feel internally that they were performative, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of interesting to me because I think Amber's a little bit performative. They're both
Yep.
like two sides of the same coin in that area. However, I don't feel like Amber is misleading. I think that she genuinely likes this guy and thought that he genuinely liked her. And I think that she was surprised that he would leave her in a foreign country in a bar where she knows no one. Like me here at home, out back in the day when I would go out, I was perfectly fine to go to a bar where I knew the guy at the door, the bodyguard, I'm sorry, the security guard, the people that poured the drinks and things like that. I was
You
perfectly fine
mean
to
you
do
mean
that.
somewhere where everybody knows your
Your name,
name?
exactly, exactly. But now, however, if I'm going out to a new place, I'm going with some people. I'm going with my girls, and we're gonna have each other's back. And nobody is going nowhere, leaving nowhere, going with nobody without us. We came together, we leaving together. That's how that goes.
But
I didn't
that's
understand
girl
that these
code.
people. I didn't right. I didn't understand that these people didn't have that same rule there, especially being in that these two ladies are in a foreign country. Like, what do we
Right.
not understand about that, guys?
It also tells me about Victoria too.
What about Victoria? What?
Victoria didn't voice any displeasure. Did she go look for her? Did she text her to see where she was?
Well, she's a people pleaser. You know what? She's the one that always has a smile on her face, even when she's in deep emotional
But
pain.
y'all are two American women in a foreign country.
Exactly. I get that. But I'm just saying she is a people pleaser and she really doesn't have, she's the person, in my opinion, she doesn't yet have developed that backbone that you would need to sit there and say, well, no, we're not leaving until we find my girl. We're going to
Even
look
if
for.
y'all not leaving, go look for her.
Oh, look for her. Exactly. That's what I was. That's my point. She should have been in the bathroom trying to see if Amber had fallen into the toilet. Like, did somebody bop her upside the head and say, you know what? I see you with Mr. Ireland. How dare you be with Mr. Ireland? You're not from Ireland yourself. I mean, whatever. Like, that's another reason why women go to the bathroom together, because sometimes some stuff can jump off in the girl's bathroom, right?
Exactly. So again, I start with Amber. She went to the bathroom and didn't tell anybody where she was going. So when she's, upset, I could have been kidnapped. I could have been this. I could have been that. Girl, did you tell anyone you were going to the bathroom? No. You
Okay.
waited till after you came out. No one was where you left them. You couldn't find anyone. And then you want to get mad. And then you want to send text message. And then you want to be like, you should have known.
You should have known. Well, in any case, she went home. She got ready for bed. We see her getting ready for bed. She must have a great, really skin routine. She was massaging some stuff in. It must have been from Korea because her skin was looking like silk. It was just so pretty. She had taken the lashes off, and she still looks gorgeous without makeup. And then she's telling us. She says, When I came back, everybody was gone, including, like you said, Victoria, Darren, and of course my guy Glenn. He was gone. I couldn't believe it. And she said, so I finally had to call an Uber. I could have been kidnapped. I got home. I got back to the hotel. I'm getting ready for bed, but I'm so disgusted. It's been such a long night. She stayed up. She couldn't go to sleep. And then she said she goes on her Instagram, and here this fool is. He's all over Instagram bar hopping with the other two. Like, what? Bar hopping?
Yep.
He hasn't called to check on her. I mean, even if he didn't know what happened to her, he could have at least texted her to say, hey, boo, where are you? Did you go home? Are you okay? Are you sick? I mean, what's the reason for her going home early if she's already told this knucklehead that I wanted to see the nightlife? Of course, you don't just give out after one drink at one bar. You want to go around and see a couple, two, three more places. Even I know that. Come on now. So anyway, so she sends him a text and she says, look, we need to meet up. We need to talk. So here we are the next day, and look at the look on Amber's face. She ain't even got her red lippy on right now. You know she upset. She ain't got her lashes on. She like, you know what? Let's do this thing right here. So he comes in. He's a little, you can tell he's a little bit like,
Hungover.
yeah, that part, hungover. And she's like, so what happened? He's like, well, what do you mean what happened? You left. And she's like, no, I didn't leave. I went to the bathroom. And when I came back, you guys were gone. He's like, well, do you really want to do this? She's like, yeah, let's go. Let's go. Because this is what happened. I went to the bathroom, came back out. You guys were gone. She said, and look, even all that being said, if you thought I had left, you didn't check on me to see why I left. Maybe I was sick. Maybe somebody had put something in my drink. You didn't check on me to see anything. You just went off, and here I see you over on IG. You're partying, having a good old time. Having a good old time. And what time did you text me back? He says 4. She says 5. It don't really matter. It was late, right? And so he texts her back, and she's like, well, he said, but I sent you 3, 4, 5 texts. And she says, well, no, you only sent me one, my dude. What's up? What are you talking about? Now you go ahead and tell him
He's
what you
like,
think
do
about the text
you really
message.
want to do this here right now?
And she's like, yeah, we're going to do this right here, right now. Where else we going to do it? At the airport?
We don't need to do it at all.
Why not?
He already shown you who he is. Why do you have to show up like this on camera? He left you. He left you.
He did.
What?
He left me.
What more do you need to know? Tell me.
I need to get out my emotions because I'm emotional right now.
Then yell in the hotel room when you're by yourself in the bathroom.
No.
What purpose does this serve other than to give them footage of you in Ireland acting like an angry black woman? I'm sorry.
Okay, so now this is where we diverge right here, because typically I'm on the same page with you. But you know what? I think she had every right to let him know how she felt. And I don't think that anything that she did was that excessive that any other woman, black, white, Native American, Hispanic, would not have done under the same similar circumstances. That man left her in the club in a foreign country with no concern. This is the same man that took her to meet his mama, his daddy, his brother. This is the same man that just a few hours ago was talking about, I'm coming to Texas to wear a cowboy hat and to be with you because of love. This is the same man now.
Is the expectation to take me home, or did we meet up at the bar and I figure we met up at the bar and you go meet up and take your behind home? This is, here's my thing. I like to spell things out.
Okay.
I don't know what the expectation is unless you tell me. And she should tell him, I expect, if we go on bar hopping, we're doing all this fun stuff. I don't know these streets. I expect you to take me back to my hotel, make sure I get there safe. You got to spell it out. You got to spell it out. We don't know if he drove even. As I said, he could have just met them up at the spot. And she needed to say, hey, we doing this bar hopping thing. I'm with you with this nightlife. I'm going to be inebriated and I'm going to depend on you to make sure I get back to my hotel. That's a smart thing to do. That's smart thing to do. He can't expect, he can't expect that. He should know she is a foreigner or whatever, but Amber gives this, I got this. attitude. I got this. I got, I could take care of myself. I can do this. Ain't nobody going sting my pride kind of thing. She has the same bravado that a lot of us have. So it's
Mhm.
not going to be intuitive for, some men to be like, oh, I need to take care of you and I need to still be a gentleman. I'm not saying he shouldn't be, but sometimes it's not easy or intuitive to be when you're faced with that kind of attitude. It's kind of like Victoria's dude. He can't hold her hand, can't do this, can't get a kid and it's like, how do I intuitively get closer to you physically and you don't do no touchy feely stuff? But I do
Mhm.
understand what you're saying. But my thing with Amber is,
Well,
Amber,
mhm.
did you, it start, I kind of start with her and I always go back to the root. Did you tell anyone you were going to the bathroom? Did anyone know where you were? And if
Hmm.
they didn't know where you were, did it, hey, y'all, don't go anywhere for 20 minutes. I'm going to the bathroom. Don't leave without me.
Right, right, right. I agree with you on that. In fact, because I did think when I first saw this, I said, you know what? What is the exit strategy? What is it that, like, a lot of times if you, and I don't know how busy the club was. These are things we don't know because apparently production wasn't in on this. I take it they didn't go. They set up the date for the cooking class, and then that was the end of their day. They say, we got SAG after laws or whatever they got over in Ireland, but we're not filming anymore. And even if they are from America, so then they still under SAG after if they're in another country. So they weren't filming. So the kids, this foursome, they were on their own. So that's why I say I think that they had to have been together in the car, in the vehicle. That's what I'm thinking. But you're right, everybody should have disclosed and talked about how are we getting home. And what about the fact that there's two couples? Do the even though we know that the Darren and Victoria aren't necessarily that physical, but maybe this would have been an opportunity after all the going out, a little bit of alcohol. Maybe they could have went off at the end, gotten their own Uber and went to her place. You see what I'm saying? And then these two, Glenn and Amber
Amber.
would have went together to her. But I don't know. But you're
But we
right.
don't we don't know because remember, every time Glenn that we see on camera that he goes out with Amber, she is brought there by a driver. She is taken back to her hotel by a driver. So again, hey, you need to say, hey, production ain't a part of this. Y'all need to make sure we get back to our hotel.
Right. And that's the thing that To Go to Africa is saying too. I would like to know that. To Go to Africa says, I think there's a possibility that production could have messed up and tried to cover up their negligence and didn't give us honest answers about what actually happened. Production shouldn't have allowed it. And I agree with her on that. I think that even though she's dating these people, production should always have made accessible to Amber and the other lady, Victoria, that they would have a ride back to their hotel. Always.
Right.
Always. So
But the
I don't
same
understand that.
right. And the same time as she says she had to catch an Uber or whatever, when you are in a foreign country, this is not Amber's first time out of the country. When you're in a foreign country and you're using your American carrier and you're incurring all those international fees,
Mhm.
sometimes those messages don't come through. And now I ain't exemplifying, I ain't, giving him a papal dispensation. Glenn could have very well not sent her a single message, but the
Mhm.
possibility is there. Even if he sent one, it may not have gotten through, or he just too drunk to have even actually hit the send button.
How many of us have done that? Not even having been drunk, but just didn't see that it wasn't sent right.
Right. We don't know. So when he's like, you
I
know,
don't trust Glenn, though. I don't
I
trust
don't
him.
I don't trust him, but when he says you wanna do this here, right now, that's when I was like, oh, Glenn got something in the chamber. That's when I was like, oh, Glenn about to really hand it to you. There's something he's got, an ace card up his
Ooh.
sleeve. That's the
Oh,
only
okay.
reason why I pull back. Like, he's giving you an out,
Oh,
not to embarrass yourself. He's like,
okay.
do you really want to do this? You sure? She's like,
Hmm.
yeah, bring it. Let's go.
She may be so emotional she wasn't catching. She might not have been picking up what he was throwing down, basically.
Right. It's like she taking off her jacket like she ready to swing. I was expecting her to crack her knuckles. I said, Amber, what are we doing?
I think she took her jacket off, and this is I could be wrong, but I just thought when I saw because I noticed that too. I thought she took her jacket off because you know what? Sometimes I don't know about anybody else, but when I'm upset, when I get angry, um, I can get warm, like physically inside. I'll begin to feel warmer, right? And I felt like maybe she took her jacket off because she was warm, whether it was because the temperature in the place was heated or whatever. And too, they got cameras on them. Cameras have lights, and those lights are hot. So I felt like not like she was gonna swing. What's she gonna swing on this big guy, Mr. Ireland, with all those muscles? Like, what is she gonna do? Like, he's gonna laugh at her? Like, she ain't gonna be able to hurt him. She's about what, a foot and a half smaller than him, and how many 50, 70 pounds lighter than him.
Right,
But the thing about it, what got me though, was when she said, you know what? She said, uh you are a liar. And what was the other word she called him? Oh, she said, you are an attention whore. And that's when he really looked at her and said, well, wait a minute. He said, you've already called me out my name. And usually when people get into arguments, they like to name call. You've already called me an attention whore before, and now you're calling me a liar. She said, but that's what you are. He says, that's your opinion. That's what he said.
right.
He said, that's your
Yes,
opinion. But I don't know. Like I felt like I want to know. Maybe we'll get it this next episode what it is that he's got on her, or did they do something maybe together and nobody knows it? Like they've been tonguing each other down enough.
right. Again, that's why I said Glenn has got something, but he said it too there. He said it too. His the card up his sleeve could be that I, I know you and I gonna make a pact out of this. You ain't one Kiva, we ain't really, together like that. We gonna make a pact to make this look right. I was like, I hope she did not
Oh,
make any kind of
oh,
agreement with Glenn.
I don't
But
think so. But
here's
okay,
the thing.
okay.
He did go for the jugular, but I don't think it was that much of a jugular. When he said, you calling me all these names, you're acting like this, no wonder you're still single. I
Mm.
said, okay, well, uh, what else did you say, Glenn? Because that isn't that offensive to me for you to be slapping my glass out of my hand and then tossing your glass to the ground, getting Guinness all in your hair
Girl, didn't she?
to
She
stomp out the place. Look at the man behind her looking.
Yeah, he was like, what is going on? This is more
And the
than we
Guinness in
normally
her hair
see.
between her and
Yep.
Glenn. That's the Guinness in her hair. And she calling him a B.
Yeah, she
I
did. She
am
called him
like,
the B word. Yes, she did.
what did Glenn say? Because the only I was thinking Glenn was racially insensitive.
That's what I kept thinking. I thought when we got here, I thought he had called her out her name. I was going, oh girl, I was gonna be writing letters. I was gonna be sending emails to TLC. Like, how could you do my girl like this? Take her out the USA to show to do what with her? To be mistreated like this? What? I was very irate. But then we find out what it was. But like I said, I think I understand why she's so hurt, humiliated, and upset, because that's another thing that came up too, the word humiliation. If you go back to Katarina when she was talking to Amber and she was saying, Amber, sometimes you have too much pride, even with Kivan. You have too much pride where you don't express yourself, you don't open up, you're not vulnerable. And to, your point too, a little bit of this I think sometimes in our community and our culture, sometimes we can have this hardened shell of I'm superwoman, I'm that superwoman. And I've said for years now, probably over at least over a good decade, whereas I used to fall into that. I don't care about that superwoman trope anymore. I don't buy into it anymore. That's not who I am anymore. And I'm soft. I'm soft and I like a soft life. So don't group me over there with those people, those women over there that are walking around in combat boots trying to be confrontational and I am woman, hear me roar. That's not who I am. And I think that Amber has gotten a little stuck in this trope a little bit, and to go over to another country where that's not a thing, that's a problem.
But again, what has Glenn said and done to elicit you possibly being detained for destruction of property? Okay. For what else is there? A menace in, what is it? Disturbing the peace. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
truly, she has committed more offenses here, and she's in a foreign country. That's why her smiley over the top. I'm like, what is Amber going to be like when she's angry? And
You
now
did
we
say
see.
that. You said that about 4 or 5 episodes ago. You said, you know what? I like Amber, but something I'm wondering about Aubrey is what's she gonna be like when she gets upset. You did say that.
Right. I would totally be like, tell him off. I don't agree with calling him out his name, because what we saw from production, he did not call her out her name. He
Out of
probably
her
is
name.
like, this is why you single. This is why you can't keep a man.
He did, yeah. He
He
said that all of
probably,
that.
right. He probably said, this is, I don't think that your three fiancés, I don't think you dumped them. I think they left you. It could be something like that.
I hadn't even thought about that part. But he did say, he said, but you're the one, Amber, you're the one that's over here. You're the
Right.
one that flew 4,000 miles looking for love. I see why. I think I see why you're single.
Right.
And that really
That
upset her. But I think the other thing, but hold on. I think the other thing is though body language and facial expressions. Did you see after he said that? Did you see the demonic look that came over his face and the smile on his face? To me, it gave very strong narcissistic tendencies because see what a narcissist will do, they will goad you, they will bait you into a fight, and then they'll sit back and smile and say, I don't understand why you're so upset. I just don't. I just don't.
I am of the other end of the spectrum. I do not think that of Glenn. I think he was very smug. I think he was expecting this and think he wanted this to occur. And I think what could possibly happen, I think about Married at First Sight
Mm,
back in the day. I
okay.
think she has done this to him. He has seen this side, but it has been off camera.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, wait. Ooh, okay, say that one more time.
I think he has seen this Amber off camera.
Really?
Because you hear what he said. You've called me this, you've called me that, you've called me an attention. Do you think she was saying that gently?
No, no, no. It's not.
Okay, so he has seen this. And I think Glenn was smug in that he got this Amber in front of the camera in HD lights. So it's like he can
Oh,
now clearly say Amber is unhinged because she has shown now on camera that she is unhinged. She has just given him his Karen card. I'm
okay,
sorry.
guys. Okay, guys. What do you think? What do you think out there? Is Elsie right? Has she given him the right to say that this woman, that Amber, is unhinged? Are you kind of thinking along the lines that I'm thinking that while it may not be the best look for Amber, but I think we know these are edited shows. I think there was much more said. And I think that the look that I did see that they did catch on him, that smug look that, as you pointed out, smug, that smug smirk on his face, I think all of that is behavior that we've seen before. People that have narcissistic traits and that think they're the thing, they're the one, they're the superstar. I think he is an attention whore. I'm sorry, I do. But then I think that Amber is too.
Right.
And I'm not sorry. Okay, this is what I see from both of them. But typically, people we see on reality shows are that people that we see running around doing the most on Instagram are that they like attention. That's why they doing all what they doing. Okay,
But
but what I
why?
don't, but hold up,
Go
but
ahead.
hold up. But what I don't see in Amber that I feel like I do see in him, I feel like Amber is genuine in the aspect that she really does want to find someone to have a loving relationship with, and that she was conflicted with Kivan, who actually is probably a much better fit for her high sparkle personality, to have somebody that brings balance to her life and her to bring him out of his shell. You see what I'm saying? So they're opposites in those ways. But what I don't see in Glenn, I don't see that he's for real. I don't see that he's authentic. And here's another thing: two other people didn't see it either. And they saw him in person, and that's Victoria and Darren. They did not see it in him either.
Granted, he is performative, but in his performance, he has not called her out her name. In
True.
his performance, he is putting on a show, but he is not putting on a show to call her out her name or embarrass her in public. But she has been calling him all kinds of names backstage.
Okay.
She has been digging into this man. And at
Okay.
some point, we going to turn the performance and turn the spotlight on you and get you to perform. But again, Amber, the while you say she got all this great bubbly sparkle and all that,
Mm-hmm.
I see beyond that sparkle. I see it as a sparkle to cover up a whole bunch of stuff, because the common denominator in her 3 failed engagements is her.
Yes.
Is
True.
her. There is something she needs to go sit with the lady, Katerina, or some other lady, and get to the bottom of. Because if someone, even, I'm sorry, and y'all are going to dislike me for this, even if he called me not a blonde, the 5 B's that we have out here, not a blonde, bad body, da 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 da. Even if he called me Kizzy's great grandchild, I am not breaking these people glasses. I am not wearing Guinness in my hair, and I am not going to be mumbling and fumbling, yelling out and screaming in these people's establishment. Ain't going to happen.
No,
So
I see what you're saying.
I'm sorry. I'm putting this squarely on Amber. Yes, square off on him. Yes, hold him accountable for leaving you behind and you felt like you were abandoned and you were left alone and maybe you were scared. This is where you pulled your Karen card, Amber, and flipped the script on him.
Yeah, she
Like,
did.
you left me. I was really scared and I didn't know where anybody was. That's when you make him look embarrassed. Because even if you call him an attention whore in the back, in the front of the camera, you are looking like the distressed person that was left behind.
Yeah, there you go. There's a way to do it. There is a way. There is a way. It kind of reminds me of on Ready to Love, this whole situation about Sahara. Sahara feels like she was slighted, but how she handled it was incorrect, right?
Right.
There's a way to handle everything, and I do agree with you on that, my friend Elsie. That you're right. There is a way to handle it, and what she should have did is pulled that vulnerability. I am soft woman, not I am woman. Hear me roar. There's a time and a place for every side of you, for the most part. And
Right,
that I
because
am
now,
woman, hear me roar. It
right.
wasn't time for that. It was a time for the, but I was so afraid, and I was there, and I didn't know what to do. That you're right. That you're absolutely right. So, Elsie, when you're right, I'm with you, and I am with you on that 100%.
Because look at that man. Look at that man behind is looking at her. Now he's going to think these Black American women who come in these establishments going to be throwing drinks and wasting their good Guinness.
They could get it. That had a good head on it too, by the way, because we could tell by all the
right
in her hair.
Now look at the establishment. Now production has got to go pay these people for damages. I mean, you need to think beyond you being mad at him. You need to think how this is going to portray. And even if you wanted to do something, and you wanted to be messy, you could have poured that Guinness on his queef and not had any destruction of property.
That would have took the smile right off his face, because God knows how much he paid and how much jail he got stuck in that dang on queef.
Exactly. He would have went home sticky and not in a good way. But then you wouldn't have destruction of property. You wouldn't have all this calling out the name. You wouldn't have all this. You could have poured that drink on his head. I'm not advocating for people to do this in public, but if she wanted to act out, which I'm not an advocate of, but if she wanted to act out, she could have done that without possibly ending up detained in Ireland, because now we have destruction of property, disturbing the peace, da 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 da. And now production going to think, okay, yes, she's good for the camera, but then now we got to pay these Irish people for their glasses. We got to pay them for, not, soaked up in the floors. Now we got to pay in Ireland.
And you bring a heck of a point though too, because friend of mine that went traveling not too long ago overseas. You got to be careful what you do in other places, because even what you think you might be able to get away with at home in the U.S., some of the you cross over. Like, I live in Michigan, right? So you cross over the border. There's a bridge takes you right over into Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Things like littering literally will
Huh.
get you a ticket, and it can even end up in jail. So what she did, you're right, it may seem like a small thing to a lot of people, but just because that's what is okay with you doesn't mean that's the law of the land where she's at. And that's a very serious thing.
Don't forget
That's a very
jaywalking. You could get a ticket.
jaywalking.
I almost got a
Yes.
ticket in Canada for jaywalking.
They don't play. Canada does not play. That's why it's so beautiful over there and clean, because they do not play with this littering, dumping trash out the window as you're driving down the highway. No, 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 ma'am, no, sir. But to your point, I just thought about something else though too. Her name calling. Her name calling was immature. I feel like, for me, adults that use name calling because they get irate and upset and angry, that's, to me, that's immature. And what I like to do, I can get upset with somebody. Of course, we all have emotions. I get angry too. One of my favorite things that I like to say to men is sir. When I start calling a guy sir, that lets you know I'm upset with them. But I'll say sir, and everybody looks at it as a sign of respect. But what I'm thinking in my head is anything but respectful. So,
Girl, we got
you
the
know,
same thing.
yeah,
We
I
got
call
the same thing. I
if,
say
if
it
you
too.
if you recall, I used to have a certain co-host when I started this show, and when we would get into debates, and I started calling him sir, he knew exactly what I meant. I wasn't saying sir inside my head, but I kept it classy. I kept it cute, sir.
I do the same thing, or I will call them by their last name,
Yep, yep, something like that. Yep.
because the way I say it, like let's say Glenn's last name is Smith, it will sound like I'm saying B, but I'm saying Smith. Get your head out your behind. But again,
Hmm.
why Amber, even so, if I'm Kiva and I'm seeing this, when is this anger going to turn on me? When is
Mm.
this going to turn on me? When am I going to say something that she doesn't like and it's
Mm.
going to turn on me?
Mm.
Because I believe she and Glenn could have come to an agreement for on-camera behavior just to snazz it up because she feels like her camera time with Kevin is too boring and the show ain't going to put much footage up. I can
Right.
see that because they both want to be, on
Stars.
camera.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
again, this is not what you want to be the star for, and you do not. I really hate to say this, but when we are in the midst and we are the only ones of our beautiful Black sisterhood selves in the midst,
Yeah.
we are carrying the reputation of our people on our backs. And now I'm going to go into an Irish pub and I'm like, is this the one Amber came to that they're going to think we all acting a fool?
Now, I have mixed feelings about that. That ideal. I have mixed feelings about that. I used to think that I was brought up to I was conditioned by my parents and those around me to feel like that you're carrying the weight of your race on your back. But then as I got older, I started, becoming educated more. No one else you've got well, let me say this, I won't say no one, because you do have other communities of people that are not black or not African American, but I refuse, I honestly refuse to carry the weight of any race or any gender on my back. The thing that I carry on my back is my family name, and that only. I don't carry for anyone else. I carry for the two people who raised me. That's what I carry on my back, and for my children, and when I married my husband. But outside of that, it's no gender, it's no race thing that I'm going to carry on my back, because to me that's part of the superwoman trope that everybody wants us to feel so heavily weighed down, and I think it adds on to our blood pressure. And I'm not joking about that,
and
but
and
that
that
that's
and
that's
and
how I
that's
feel.
yeah, that's where we differ in that even though you may feel like that, it is still placed upon you. Like it is placed upon Amber right now. It is placed upon her. She don't care. She gonna let her feelings be known. about Glenn and let it be shown. But again, you have to be aware that your surroundings, people are making assessments and looking, whether you like it or not, whether it is true or not. But what I'm saying is don't feed the flames by behaving like this, in especially in a foreign country. I'm sorry,
I,
even if it's not her, they are going to say the Americans behave like this.
And you know what? And they can. They can say Karen can go over to Dublin and act a fool and do some Karenish things, and that's still going to fall on Americans. But what I'm saying is that's not for me to take under my belt. Like earlier, we were talking about the issue, and I know this is going to sound like it is two different things for the gentleman EJ to take on someone else's issue because she's a woman and because after a certain period of time it's difficult for us as women to conceive and carry a child to term, right? It's just not for me to do. Like everybody is entitled to feel the way they want to feel. I understand that the reality is that people are going to place templates over other people, but guess what? That's for them. That's just like somebody being prejudiced. I'm not going to carry that weight on me because they're prejudiced against me because I'm a black woman. That's their weight to carry. You see what I'm saying? You cannot mentally, emotionally, you cannot carry the weight of all of these things that we have been conditioned over time and over generations to carry. I just don't believe we need to stop that. I think we would be emotionally and mentally a lot healthier. Now that being said, that doesn't mean, to your point, that doesn't mean I go out and act the fool. That doesn't mean that I go out and name call, which I've already said I think is very immature, right? There is a standard that I carry myself by, but it's not so that I can be measured as a black woman. It's just so that I can be measured as me because these are my standards. And when I go to sleep at night, I can sleep.
And I think that's where I think it's a matter of perception, that where we may differ, because you are the way you're describing it, you're thinking it's an actual weight. For me, I don't feel weighed down. I feel it is something that I just need to be aware of. Not that I'm carrying a weight or carrying a basket of all these expectations and all these, other things
Okay.
carrying the entire population. But here's the thing, I am aware that that is someone's perception. That man sitting back there, I am looking at it like, okay, she does have a right to express herself, but we don't know if Ireland allows you to be breaking these people's glass and
Oh,
their
absolutely.
establishment. But he is looking at her, and I'm like, Amber, you are an HD TV. The internet and film and digital is forever. You have to, even if we're looking at you, Aubrey, in that your family name, what are you telling people, and how are you telling people you are, Amber, with the way you are behaving right now? You have just given these people you in HD breaking stuff, calling a man out his name. What man out there is now looking at Amber and saying, if we have a disagreement, if we have a misunderstanding, how is she not going to turn on me and not become Hurricane Amber?
Oh, not Hurricane. Not like Hurricane Michaela from Married at First Sight.
Exactly.
Houston season.
Exactly why I said it.
Yeah. That's a good one. Okay, so we're gonna agree to disagree. And no, I see what you're saying. I know it's not a weight. I know that, but I don't agree with that thinking. Um, I think that it's a form of control. I think that I see it for what it is. It's a form of conditioning, and all throughout life and all throughout society, there are different types of conditioning, some that are effective and some that are necessary. I don't feel like that one's necessary in 2025. I don't.
I think it's necessary to keep you out of jail and detention, because that
No.
right there.
Well, what I'm saying, I'm listen now. I'm not. There's two separate things. I'm not saying that you can behave any kind of way that you want in 2025. I'm saying that I don't feel that things that I do, everything that I do is like I'm worried about it being some kind of trope or some type of stereotype or bearing weight on me as a black woman. I'm saying that, but I still think, to me, you behave in a mannerable, in a positive, in a acceptable way. That's just part of being in a society. Part of being in society is that there are rules, and some of those rules are considered laws, right? I'm not
Right.
trying to go to prison. I'm not trying to go to jail. I'm not trying to get a record.
Or
So
get a
you
reputation
behave
with
that way.
production.
Or reputation with production, reputation, as you pointed out, like these things don't work out between me and Kayvon or me and Glenn. What is the next guy that goes out with me and says, I looked you up, I Googled you, I see you're on this reality show, I'm going to go watch all these episodes. No, I'm not. You do it for yourself. You do it for yourself. You do it for your immediate family, those that you really care about. But it's not, for me, it's just not a thing that I'm going to sit around thinking about, that
But
I'm
what if
reflecting on the black race. Or here's, I'll give you another example from the outside looking in. I go out sometimes and I see some people that look like me in the community out somewhere acting a fool, right? Okay, acting their arse. Do I then put that on myself and feel shame because they look like me, they look similar to me, and they're acting a fool? They're doing things that nobody would think are acceptable in the establishment or the place and the time where they're doing it? I don't. I don't.
I didn't say take responsibility for their behavior, but I'm like, you have to be aware of the responsibility that is placed upon you in the perception and how people perceive not only you, they perceive you and all of your categories. As a woman, as a black woman with natural hair, an American, they are perceiving you in all the categories that you present. And here
And
she
that's
is.
okay. That's
That's
okay. That's
that's
their thing to do. If that's what they like to do, then I can look at white people and say I can categorize white people. We ever
yeah.
flip that? Do we ever flip that around? Do we ever
Yes,
flip
I
that
do.
around?
I do.
Okay.
Look at this Irish man. And here's the thing. I'm sorry.
I should have never asked, but go ahead.
Right.
I want to
I do. You know
hear
I
this
do.
flip side. I want to hear this flip side. Go ahead. Let me hear this.
This Irish man is here. All we doing is going Guinness, 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 Guinness. The other thing is you are sitting here and you are not accepting any responsibility for anything that happened that night. You're not even saying, hey, I sent the text, maybe it didn't come through. He's here. You put her in front of your parents. You look like you're trying to get a TV show out of this. He has been performative the entire time. And here's my thing. I'm going to get off Glenn, but I'm going to see what
No.
if Kevin. This is why Kevin is skittish and shy because he don't want his
Ah,
glass of champagne slapped out his hand.
what? Or because you know what? Or because he's skittish. He's skittish and shy. And you know what? Skittish and shy. See, people look at shy. There's different ways of looking at shy. Shy could be cautious. Shy could be you are waiting to get to know the person. You're giving things time. Because in reality, for the most part, getting to know someone, it does take time. And it does take seeing them in various situations and various circumstances, right? So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Van and Glenn are at two polar opposites from right now. From what this edited show is showing us, for me, they are at two polar opposites of one another. One is performative with what I feel are strong narcissistic traits. That would be Glenn. And one over here is more introspective and more considerate, and that would be Kevin.
Then
So
if you, I don't like to use that, narcissistic word, but then you got to apply that to Amber too. She has those traits as well.
I think there's a difference between performative traits and narcissistic traits.
Mm, okay.
See, and notice I'm not calling anyone a narcissist. I'm pointing out that
Right.
some traits appear to me to be narcissistic traits.
I'm just saying
Now
we said both of them are performative, both of them are very
they are
similar.
very performative, but I always gave you the exception though that I felt like Amber in this edited show, from what I've seen, I felt like Amber was genuine in her search for true affection, love, and a relationship. That's the difference. That is the difference. Whereas for me, I
Are
felt
we
like
sure?
no,
Are
no,
we
no.
sure?
No, I'm saying not. No, listen. I'm saying for me. I can't say for you. I can only speak for myself. But I'm saying that's what I feel like. But Glenn, on the other hand, seems to be searching for the next show to be on.
I can see that, but are we sure she's looking for love? Or is she just that good of a performer?
I think she is. I think she really is. not to change the subject, but I'm gonna move down to the comments, and I want to get your opinion about this would to go to Africa, because I think this is a really great comment. One of the greatest disservices to the audience and injustices to Amber was to not show us what really happened when he left her, and to focus more on during the argument on what she said than what he said. What do you think about that?
I think in any argument, yes, they did a disservice. They did a disservice that we don't see the whole thing. We just hear her calling him names or what she's called him in the background names. We don't hear the full extent, because I'm sorry. I I find it hard to believe, and I am judging Amber based on how I would behave. I find it
Right.
hard to believe that we are throwing glassware, knocking it out somebody's hand because we're told this is why we're still single. I find it hard to believe. So I think there's a lot that was carved, cut out, and to make
Okay.
her look this way. But she can only look this way if she gives them this footage for them to slice and dice however they wish. And I'm sorry. She should not be doing this. She had a good mean steer. She had good little quips like, "Yeah, we doing this right now. Oh, what up, my guy?" She had
Yeah,
the
she did.
words. I was like, "Yes, Amber, gather him." And
Yeah.
then she gathered the glasses, and that's where she lost me.
Ah, okay. I agree. I agree. I think there was no need for that. But what we don't know, like you pointed out, though, we really don't know what else was said, and we do. I think all of us here feel a strong sense that there were some things that possibly were edited out, as well as like to Go's point, we didn't really see. I don't think was production there that night, because why wouldn't we? If they were there and they caught any of this, why wouldn't we have seen this?
Right. Well, she did. She to K Sharp's point, she did go live that night. Not live, but
Hmm?
she did in one of her clips. In one of her clips, she is shown on her phone saying she made it home. They
Oh, yeah,
left
yeah.
her behind, blah blah blah. So,
Yes.
and I have that clip as one of my shorts this week. Please make sure you're subscribed to get them. Um she did point out in her phone video that she was alone. This is what happens when you don't go with the production crew. Again, because this is not production
Mm.
sanctioned, they are not bringing you and taking you back home. You
Oh,
have to
I
make
see.
things clear.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Like kind of like we found this out years ago with Ready to Love. They had a situation with in DC. What was the young lady's name that worked for NASA? And she's
Uh-huh.
also a dancer. But anyway, they went out, and it was and as OWN and everybody else, the production company was quick to point out this was an unsanctioned event.
Yep.
We did not sanction this, okay? So
Right.
don't put
Right.
us in the middle, and don't be trying to sue us, because this was not sanctioned. So you're right.
Shiloh and Phil.
Shiloh and no, 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 no. I'm thinking of Dakia and the little jerky guy. That's
Oh, him? No,
shApp.
I was more thinking that Shiloh and Phil
But you're
was
right. But
more.
you're right. That was the other one. That was the other one. Shiloh and Phil. You're right. That was the other one. But I was actually thinking of Dakia, because Dakia's situation turned out. That turned out to almost be a SMEX harassment charge. Like if you recall.
Both of
Yeah.
them were doing
Yeah.
that because Shiloh was saying the same with Phil.
Well.
She was trying to say assault.
Well. Okay.
We
And I'm
won't
gonna have.
litigate it. We won't
Yeah, we
litigate it.
won't
But if
litigate it, because I plan on having him on the channel.
good, of course,
And
I really like Phil. Please,
I
yes.
love Phil from the first moment. I said this is a good guy, and it was so funny because Alex said at that time, who's on the channel, he said, "Oh, I don't know why you like him so much." And then about a week later, he called me back after the show first started. He said, "Oh, I forgot. I didn't realize that was the guy. He's my brother's best friend, and I've known him for years. He really is a good guy." I said, "I knew it. I could see it. Everything about him. He's
I
class.
just,
He's
yep.
chivalrous. That's why he went after her." But I told him, and he got angry with me. I said, "But you know what? He never should have. He should have let her be. She went ran down that alley at 3 o'clock in the morning. Let her run her butt down there."
But then his conscience would have eat at
It,
him, not
it would
knowing if
have.
she was safe. He ain't Glenn,
But
okay?
she
He
gotta.
can't. He ain't going bar hopping and leaving you to get home back to
But
the hotel on your own.
these people, including women, have to learn. You want to play Karen, and you ran out there for him to run after you. Then you wanted to try to allege something else was what it wasn't. When we can clearly see this man's integrity and everything about him is integrity, and you, on the other hand, who's supposed to be an intimacy coach, don't even know how to be intimate. You got upset with him because he was with someone else at the getaway. That's when that mess all started. Yeah, we have to talk about this.
But I'm glad. I'm
I
glad. I
gotta
really
bring
do.
Phil on. I
Yeah,
gotta
I
bring
really
Phil on
do
because
like Phil.
I
I think
do.
that's a great
That was
step to
great.
have him on. He's very expressive. He
He
has a
is.
very much an opinion. He is a guy's guy, and I'm
Yes, he
sorry to
is.
say I would prefer Phil over Ron.
Eat your Eat your heart out. Ron is my man. Ron is my lightweight version of Kevin Samuel. I love Ron. I love Ron. We were just talking about this the other day with someone. Ron, here's the thing about Ron that I can guarantee you. I'm not going to always agree with what Ron says. Do I agree? No. But one thing about Ron, just like Amber, he's genuine. He is truly genuine, and
I
he's
don't
with
know
you.
if Amber genuine now. I think she performing for you. I think she putting on a good
Well,
show.
Ron is genuine. And the other thing about it is the reason why people love to go back and forth with Ron and they enjoy his commentary is because he is so transparent. If you ask him why, my God, he will give you from the A to the Z of the why. And by the time he is finished, you will truly understand the way this man thinks. And not everybody, particularly men, are as expressive as he is. That's what I love about Ron. He
Understood.
is
The same with Phil. Phil
very
will tell you
expressive.
what he thinks.
He gonna tell you what he thinks, but Phil, the thing about Phil, and I know a little bit about him more personally. Um, Phil is under certain parameters because of his occupation. And so
Understood.
that's a part of what happened with that series that a lot of
Understood.
people don't understand that I did understand because I knew someone who knew him personally. But
Got
yeah.
you.
But anyway, but okay, guys, tell the people because we went on way off track. Tell the people where they can find you and what you're doing on your channels, Elsie.
So I am Elsid932 on YouTube. I am of course here on Tuesday. Next week Tuesday, I think will be our finale for Match Me Abroad. Tomorrow Wednesday, I'll be covering King's Court. That had their finale this past Sunday. The Kings chose their queen. Okay. Then Friday, I have Unscripted, where we talk about any and everything that the chat wants to talk about. Mix in a year in music and mix in some other, news and other, not really big news, but just, little
Yeah.
quirky news. On
Okay.
Saturdays, I cover Love is Blind France is a live, although I do the recaps during the week. Saturday, Love is Blind France at noon EST. Then Project Runway. We grade the fashions for the week. I put up the photos and we grade them. We, the public, and we have a good old Kiki. And that is Saturday at 5:05 EST. On Sunday at noon is unsolicited advice. That's where we give advice to the people on the internet who have asked the internet world for advice. And we get from mild to spicy with those stories. On Sunday at 5:05 EST is Love is Blind Brazil's live. And if you thought the 50 and over crowd were going to be mild and boring, I am here to tell you you are sorely mistaken. They are just as spicy as the 30-somethings in Love is Blind France. So that's where I'll be tomorrow, watching all of that, getting my recaps out and getting the weekend done. And if you are a member of my channel, we get real 18 and over conversations, real spicy.
Yes, she does.
In the member lives at 8 o'clock on Monday nights. I do it at 8 so that we have time to get off of there so you could enjoy your Monday night football. So that is the week. By next week or by the following week, I'll have my Tuesdays and Wednesdays back.
I'm so looking forward to it, guys. You can check me out here on Sundays about 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's about 11:30 in the UK. We have our wonderful, fabulous JR, who is London born and bred, and we have our own Detroit born and Texas, living in the great city of H Town, Ron Freeman, who is gonna give it to you like it is. I don't care what you think. Got a little bit of Kevin Samuels going on in him, but he's still my dude, okay? And then, of course, we're back here Tuesday with El Cid to finish up Match Me Abroad. All right, guys, we're going to shimmy and shake on out of here, right, El Cid?
Yes, shimmy and shake.
All right, here we go.